You all started last session outside of just after the undead assaulted the caravan camp in the Fields of the Dead to the north of Baldur's Gate. After that little encounter, there was a short moment of the groups kind of waiting on you all to decide how to move forward, kind of recognizing your group more or less as the sort of main protection at that point of the camp. The group started to move their way into the foothills of the Troll Claws, eventually climbing into the steeper portions of the mountains and crossing the actual winding waters that cross through the Troll Claws. There was a short incident with a couple of trolls, which was later assaulted by some flying female humanoid eagle type things that basically change shape in the process of being killed. They kind of assault with almost deer-like antlers, and female forms seem to be their actual natural state. After that short little fight, the group took refuge for that day and kind of made like a half day's travel. There was a short incident where Tynus stepped back towards the caravan before everyone else had and was bashed on the back of the head by somebody who seemed to be trying to distract him. Otherwise, the caravan seemed to be rather distracted by all of the actual creatures, both overhead and the parties battling with the trolls. Nobody was of too much use as to what really went down at that point. The party then made it, I believe, the rest of that kind of like half day of travel. Oh, it looks like Josh is here. Excellent. And eventually took to camp. The party kind of was a little more ready for the fact that there seemed to be nefarious figures inside of the caravan. Everybody taking a separate portion of watch. The group tried to set out and prepare to see what might happen. And in the process of the watch that evening, both Hadar as well as Vicious lost a few precious items. And the next day began with the group kind of going along with locate item and tracking to two different carts. The porcelain salesman, who's very excited to see Tynus again, as well as a group of dwarves who were less open to the idea of having any company around their cart. A combat ensued, in which the battle went pretty quickly away from the dwarves as you all took them to ground, and we basically have stopped at the point where the dwarves have not surrendered the cart to you for search, but they are essentially holding fast as you have steadied their apparent leader and are waiting for essentially him to come to terms with what has actually happened at that point and to then give permission to search the cart. And that's where we will pick up. And we will start in that moment where I believe it was Doc who steadied him with a healer's kit, and it'll be 3 hours until he wakes up at that point.
Well then, I suppose while we're waiting, we should uh, consider speaking to uh, the other merchant.
You're really good at that. Why don't you take the point?
Please, no. Someone else, anyone else.
Maybe it'll be a cloth salesman.
I, I wouldn't, I wouldn't really be interested in a 4-hour lecture on cloth either.
Before anyone speaks to anyone, we should probably discuss our way of doing things. I think we can still try to talk to them, but if the negotiations do not work, we should probably not start a fight or anything. We should probably try. coming back at night and sneaking and looking in the car, or I don't know. No, but I feel like fighting is not a good idea.
Well, we didn't start this fight either, but I believe sneaking into someone's cart in the middle of the night would be an even worse course of action. At least confronting them by day shows our pure intent.
Roll an insight check for me, Tinus.
As a 15,
The general fear and everybody who is avoiding you all at this point has decided that you all did indeed start the fight, that the caravan right now fears the fuck out of you all.
dang it. Then again, perhaps after this little display, we might not be in the mm, best graces of everyone. Hopefully, we can assuage their fears by continuing to offer protection as the days go on. He just sort of, speaking out loud his own thoughts to the rest of the party. But as of now, since we have a bit of time before this particular merchant awakens and we can hopefully continue our search for Arlyle's amulet, one of you should consider talking to the porcelain seller, as that is where I was able to detect Vicious's potion of water breathing.
But just, I feel like you have a special connection with him, so I think you're the best one to talk to him, huh?
I genuinely believe you are mistaken. I have very little connection to that person.
Yeah, but at least he's open to you and he always wants to talk with you. I think that's a great starting point.
I cannot speak to him. He will speak to me. Or I should say, he will speak at me, and I cannot get in a word in edgewise, as I am a bit too meek in conversation. Someone more adept in speech should give that a try.
Do we have someone who volunteers, someone who want to do it?
Well, I would volunteer Doc. You're quite the speaker, and I've always appreciated how well you can lead a conversation. Perhaps you could lead the conversation away from porcelain and towards our potion, if you spoke to him.
I'm not quite convinced that this is the best course of action. Perhaps we should live and let live for now, and then revisit this situation when we're a little more rested and able-bodied.
You're thinking we should just continue along with the caravan until this merchant awakens?
No, I
At
think he
least,
thinks.
at
Go
least
ahead.
before we start confronting anyone else, in a weakened state, I don't think it's the best time. Should we find out that we were wrong about our instincts to begin with? And at this point in time, can I kind of see like where are the other dwarves and what are they doing with like the main dwarf?
If you all basically step away from him, their essential aim at that point would be to basically get his body in a comfortable position. So it's meta knowledge that you all would know that I roll a 3 to see when he would wake up after being stabilized. So you all would on some level have an interest in staying close to see when he comes to, not really knowing when exactly he's going to come back to consciousness. But otherwise, they are basically trying to like get his body just into a position where he can basically take a little bit of rest while he is unconscious, where nothing's going to get hurt. Like he's not going to get like a spinal injury because like this or that. So at that point, they're basically just kind of like taking bedrolls, taking like pillows, and trying to actually like get his body positioned on like the bench of the wagon and more or less like reclined.
Is there a way that I can like kind of tell which of the dwarves appears to like be in charge right now? I want to kind of like try to talk to him.
So from the previous instance, you all would have seen 2 of the female dwarves were the ones using axes, and then there was another dwarf who was using a battle hammer, and he seems to be the one in charge.
All right, I want to try to talk to him. Um, You there, you guys have proved quite the challenge in battle. That was a nice little skirmish to get our day started, but I do have a couple of questions before your master awakes.
And what, pray tell, are your questions?
Well, we did pay you the gold to search the card, and I just wanted to resolve this issue before we move on. That way, you've proven yourselves in battle, and to tell you the truth, I consider us to be friends at this point in time, and I know that you can handle yourself. So, in my book, as a server of the military, gives me a lot of credibility for you folks as well. And if I could just let this one situation lay to rest, I think we could be good friends in the future.
My answer cannot change at this point. I cannot give you any permission to search my master's carts. You are, as far as I am concerned, in the same arrangement. You all had paid to peruse the different cooking oils and perfumes that my master, and he kind of like looks around the camp that's kind of spread away from you all. He allowed you to search, and you can basically tell again that there is a point of they are indeed hiding something in the fact that he brought forward those perfumes and cooking oils, and the fact that you all have taken two blades with them. You can kind of gather that that is likely what they were trying to hide, that this person is indeed not a merchant, and none of these people are merchants.
None of any people, or just the people here?
The dwarves that you all fought. That his reason to not let you search the cart is because the perfumes and cooking oils that he had were what he showed you.
Ah, I see.
That
Well,
you
I
guys
can,
picked a fight with warriors, you did not pick a fight with a merchant.
I can understand that you're not in a position to make these decisions without your master awake, so perhaps we can revisit this in the future, but I'd like to lay this to rest, so keep it on your mind then.
So, are you suggesting we proceed with moving the rest of the caravan forward, and we'll simply wait with these gentlemen until the master awakes? Or would we prefer to keep things on hold for now?
I think we should probably talk to the master from them as soon as possible. I don't want to leave this thing open, so he maybe has a grudge against us for fighting with them. I don't know. I don't know how draws are ticking up there.
In my mind, we should continue to wait, as we don't know when their master awaken. It could be any moment, or it could be in several hours. Who's to say, honestly? But we should wait here until he does awaken, so that we can resolve this situation amicably going forward, and from there we will proceed the caravan.
We're best off waiting to confirm that it is definitely here. So then that way, the rest of the caravan can see we weren't nuts. We just see that we were right because the amulet we were looking for was here. So there's no reason to think we're dicks.
Well, then, how about we just sort of make a general speaking to the rest of the caravan to let them know the situation. I imagine that fight has gotten them quite riled up, and they might need some words of comfort.
I'm not sure that revealing our hand right now is the best idea. I sort of like what Arlyle was getting at. Perhaps we should rest up and lick our wounds, and then we can go from there.
I question if our hand is even hidden at this point.
If we alarm the rest of the party to the issue, then whatever else we're looking for is likely to disappear in the meantime, as someone knows that we're looking for it and that you can use your magic to find it, no?
They may not be aware that we used magic to find it. From their perspective, we simply wandered over to a cart, got into an argument, and began fighting. Without
I,
them knowing the exact details of our situation, they
I
may not
believe you
know we
said that
used
you
magic.
located it with magic.
He did say that, but I don't know how close the rest of the caravan was to hearing it.
It's enough that you guys have been the center of attention that I don't think you should assume that people have not. And it's at this point that the noble female would start to approach your group. And she notifies you all. It seems like a good portion of the caravan is starting to head off, looking to make Dragonspear at this point, and are not waiting.
Ah, they were proceeding forward without us. How unfortunate. This is a
Best to
change.
stick together and keep the caravan as one for everyone's protection. I think we should keep moving.
Oh, so be it, but that will make searching this particular wagon when the dwarf noble wakes more difficult.
I'm not sure I follow your reasoning.
Well, in order to do the kind of search that we need to do in order to find the amulet, it's reasonable to assume the wagon must be stopped and everything must be taken out to find it. Otherwise, we would have been able to look for it as soon as they removed the tarp. So once this wagon starts moving along with the rest of the caravan, our chances of looking into it as in depth as we need to are, well, basically out of the window until the caravan stops again.
I think the dwarves have made it clear that they're not going to allow us to search the cart right now anyway, so we need to wait for the noble to come to. Might as well keep moving and stick together in the meantime, no? We can keep an eye on them.
A fair point. Let's proceed with everyone else then. We'll just hang around this particular wagon. And with that, Tynus will, sort of out of courtesy, start trying to put the tarp back over their wagon.
They don't let you get close to it.
Fair enough. I understand your concern. But let's pack up and move along then. And he will step back away to a safer distance. So yeah, with that, let's just start following along with the rest of the caravan.
So as the caravan progression starts to leave that area, it seems like the dwarves are not yet ready to move along, and it is a question of convincing your wagons that you all are a part of, whether you want to go along with the main wagon train or whether you are looking to split and stay back with the dwarves.
That's toughy, out of character. Ah, hmm. If we may not even be able to convince them to let us do that. And if the dwarves stay behind, it's very possible that the amulet will be moved, or while we're pushing ahead, they might just somehow hide it even better than they currently do, because there are limitations on what locate item can do. So, like, there are ways to hide items from that spell. So it's like, I don't know which of us would be particularly good at persuading our caravan, our particular wagons, to let us stick around with these dwarves. I assume they're going to try to rejoin the caravan as a at large. They'll just be further back in the line, because I doubt they would try to make this journey alone. But they're definitely going to be lagging pretty far behind the rest at this point. Ah,
Usually the teamsters would be the most knowledgeable ones of anybody who has traveled these different courses. A few of the different merchants have made the trips a few times, but as everybody kind of discusses things with your separate teamster, who's essentially like driving the horses, most of them kind of pass on the knowledge to you that the troll claws, while still dangerous, are essentially the last most dangerous leg of this initial journey. Dragonspear is one of the initial stops that's a little bit safer. It is a fortress of sorts where there is certainly extra defensive measures to keep the wilds away. And that is part of why it seems that the caravan is essentially dissipating at this point. That between the battle and what everybody sees as an assault on merchants, this is kind of the aim at that point of much of the caravan, is to make it to safety.
Mm. Okay, all right. Well, considering what I've just learned from our teamster, I believe we should try to discuss with our particular wagons staying behind with these dwarves. They're much closer to safety, and especially within their own minds, most likely, by heading to Dragonspear and not keeping us around, as we are now merchant attackers.
Yeah, but who's gonna give me food?
I will give you food.
Always the
So,
important.
I mean, as long as I have food, I don't care where we go.
Well,
God, I can't wait to have somebody evil buy Hadar off.
yeah, it sounds like that's going to be fairly easy. Uh, anyway, Vicious, let's go discuss staying behind with Nahar Verther. I cannot say his first name.
Yeah, right?
Right.
We'll go do that.
Doc Arlisle, we're going to go see about staying behind with this wagon. I suggest you consider doing the same, but of course, your course of action is what you deem best.
How do you intend to convince Nerite to stay behind?
Let's see. Just through general conversation. He's just going to point out now that we're out of the troll claws, we're heading towards a much safer area. And while we won't be following as closely to his wagon, we will certainly be close enough that we could offer him protection. And he's not paying us all that much anyway, so eh, he's not in a situation where he would need our direct and immediate protection going forward. As long as he gets it to the Dragon Spear without any further incident, which seems likely given the traveling along this road, uh, it's very possible that we can even part services here if he no longer wishes to wait for us. But we do have significant business with this other wagon.
Are you trying to convince him to leave you?
I basically, yeah, trying to convince him to just go on without us.
All right, Nerite leaves. No
It
roll
was
necessary.
It was wonderful working with you. Well, that's settled. Let's head back to those dwarves.
Before I talk to my chef, I would say, uh, I feel like there's no way I can convince him to go with us guys because he lives up selling food to the other caravan people, and like, I mean, the only people he could sell food to is me. I mean, if he stays here, yeah.
Hmm. I don't think that'll be too much of a ask for him.
Just at a game, aren't we? Don't we still have quite a bit of the journey to go? And this is just a random stop along the way.
Yeah, you guys are definitely not far along this journey.
So you guys are just gonna die of starvation because you won't have somebody to like feed you for the next however long.
No.
Yeah, I feel like staying
Well,
behind is a bad idea.
didn't you just convince your wagon that's like paying you with food and everything to leave?
He's not paying us with food. He's only paying us like 10 copper total.
And feeding you.
He's feeding us?
Theirs was not feeding you. No, you guys like negotiated the worst of possible deals.
Yeah, that's what I thought we did. So that's why I was just like, yeah, We can abandon him.
Oh,
He's not been feeding us.
I thought all of our like wagon groups that we were with were providing food because I didn't remember anybody purchasing like 90 days worth of rations.
Yeah, only Arlyle and Doc actually negotiated on the normal the normal chart, where the worst of possible situations was that you had to go along on your own way. The other two basically negotiated themselves as like indentured servants.
Yeah, that was my impression.
Well, I
That's
can
why I
go
was
along
so
with food.
yeah. That's why I was so quick to just be like, yeah, we'd ditch that guy. He wasn't really providing us much beyond just reason to travel with the caravan.
I'm going to convince my person to stay because they're paying, and also I think it's daft they go off on their own. And then we can move along with the powerful dwarves and our own individual caravans as a new, more lightweight, better caravan. And then catch up with the cultists eventually, because we can move faster than them as a smaller caravan. And we'll get there and we'll catch up on this massive long journey eventually, and then we can carry on with our search and our investigation once we get back to the expanded one.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to convince mine to stay as well.
Yeah, like if you guys don't have more than that, let me just have a persuasion check from you.
Well, I I would at least want to talk to my employer to. It was Wyatt Sashbell or?
Yeah, Bade Seshful.
Yeah, Wyatt, I'm sorry to. I have a quick thing that I have to talk to you for a moment. So I would be splitting off of the main caravan for a moment. I mean, if you want to join us, you can join, but we'll probably catch the main caravan later on again. And so, I mean, I will be not. I cannot protect you if you're not near me for the time, but when I'm back, I would be grateful to join you back and come back to your car and to work for you again. I'm more like trying to ask if you still would be willing to employ me afterwards.
I'm not sure if you will see us again if you all stay behind here. There are many wagon trains along this trail. Not necessarily uncommon for them to separate, but at the same time, the speed of a horse is generally the speed that decides the speed of a caravan, so you may find that we don't see each other again. Let me have Hadar roll a persuasion.
I'm sorry, the door rang and I had to run, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, if you didn't hear that, essentially Bade would have replied that the speed of a caravan is the speed of the horses. You can only go so fast along a day without running your horses down. And that while you certainly have a chance that you might see one another again, that in the long run there's just plenty of wagons along this trail, and for what he knows, you may never see one another again, or perhaps you might run into one another, but it's hard to say at that level. But let me have you roll a persuasion.
Wait, I forgot to roll 20. 1 second. A 1.
So Oin and Doc's crew would stay behind. Green Imsa and her crew would stay behind, and Bade would be heading off with the rest of the caravan.
Yeah.
So are we split now?
At present, basically, Vicious, Doc, or not Doc, Vicious, Tynus, and Hadar are now walking.
Just one thing before Babe leaves. I just want to ask, how much would it cost to buy some food from Bait and how much food do we have on ourselves. For everyone, like, I mean, if someone has a lot of food on them or a possible way to get food, I'm happy with that, but I do not want to starve to death on this way.
Let me tell you how uninteresting food costs is to me. You can buy rations from Bade at 1.5 times priced. So, let's see, 7 silver, 5 copper per ration.
That's highway robbery.
And that's the entire reason why he travels along this course, is to rob people who are not prepared for it. He is a merchant who sells things that you don't need to travel around with. He literally exists to sell people shit at astronomical prices while you're in the middle of nowhere.
He's like the movie theater vendor of the caravan.
Yeah, he normally, like in the book, he just travels with ale. But I don't understand why he wouldn't have dried meats as well and essentially rations. But yeah, he has rations for sale at 1.5 times player handbook prices. And is more than happy to profit off of your stomach. You might actually even wonder if he brought you into the middle of nowhere hoping that this situation would come about.
Yeah.
Slime ball.
First, before we stay behind, I just want to talk to the group and guys, are we even able to survive if we leave the main caravan? I feel like we do not have enough food for everyone. I mean, I get my food from my chef, and Tinus told me he gets me food, but I feel like he only gets 10 copper a day so far. So I don't know if he has enough rations for me.
Oh, I'm not getting 10 copper a day.
No? For the whole you get for the whole trip or what?
Yeah, I think he's getting 1 copper a day.
Yeah, it's 1 copper. And even that I'm not getting anymore. I've ended our agreement with Verther.
Yeah, I mean the other option would be because I don't know. I feel like these dwarves here are strong enough to protect themselves. I mean, we can ask them if we can work for them now, but I'm not sure.
We only need enough rations from this particular gentleman to reach Dragon's Reach. From there, we could purchase rations at a much more reasonable price.
Bade hisses at you.
No, I meant no offense by that. I was simply stating the situation. I completely understand your extra service fee for providing food in harsher times. You are entirely justified in my mind.
And another thing that I would want to point out, I talked to Bait and everything, and he told me the chances of us, if we leave the main caravan, that we catch up to the main caravan are really bad. So, I mean, if we want to investigate some other people on the caravan, it will be nearly impossible if we leave them.
I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, at this point you all would see that pretty much everybody has left except for, is it Green Imsa, the dwarves, Oin Evanmore, Cynthia the noble that you all saved, and then yourselves. And the little rock gnome has stayed off behind with you all as well.
How many miles are we going to need to walk?
To get to Dragon's Reach or to get to Waterdeep?
I
Both?
don't think
Either?
it's set where it's like a specific distance for this map. I don't think I ever scaled it.
To the next place where we can get some form of transportation that is not walking?
That would likely be Dragon's Reach, where we could purchase horses of our own.
Somebody else do the bargaining next time.
I just want to put it out there. If worst turns worse, we can just be bandits.
I would really suggest we simply forage if necessary. I'm quite experienced in such. I've traveled these roads before, though not at the pace these caravans go.
Vaguely half the distance that you all have gone already, and I think you are like 5 days into this trip.
Just another question. Couldn't the dwarves simply put the master, or whatever I can call him, onto the car or onto the horse and transport it and just go with the main caravan?
Why would dwarves not be obstinate?
Yeah, they're
Well,
not looking to work with us in any capacity.
Their master is the only thing that they are concerned with at this point. They don't care about your need to stay with the caravan.
I believe we
Well,
are already in a fine situation, so I think we should continue on our current course.
okay, does anybody know how far it's to Dragon Spear, and yeah, how many days it would take there? Anyone knows?
It's probably like 3 to 4 days, basically, is what you're looking at.
But as we get weaker and weaker from having no food, it'll take longer.
It doesn't
I
necessarily
have
take longer, you just get closer to dying.
rations for 4 days,
I have rations for 9 days.
so we can make it to Dragon's Reach.
Yeah. So you guys want to stay here, and gotta investigate the amulet. It's just the main choice. So we leave the caravan
We split from the main caravan and form our smaller caravan with the wagons who are staying behind with us.
So I just want to ask. I completely forgot what was this amulet about? What was so special about it?
Hey, we'll look to Arlyle.
Hey, sorry about that. I was just in the other room. What was the question? Sorry.
Hey, Dax,
Yeah.
what's so special about the amulet? And Tynus just sort of looked to you.
All right. Well, basically, it's important to me. It's a sign of my my deity, my patron, and I mean, it's not the most valuable thing I've ever owned, but it's just something that matters to me. And the fact that it was stolen was a good lead for us to try and find out what's going on. Since our whole mission, the reason why we were with this caravan in the first place, and all that was to find out about the dragon cultists. And I thought, shit going missing, being stolen, that seems like a good lead, right? So if we found out where it was, who took it, that's a good indicator about stuff that's happening here. But it could just be a red herring. Could just be stuff that happens on the road.
Just a well, I mean, are types part of the dragon cultist then, or do I get that wrong?
Are we saying this stuff out loud, just openly declaring our mission?
I always assume you are.
Sounds like it. Though.
Yep.
I mean, how else are we talking?
Well, there's in character talk and out of character talk, and usually we don't. Forget it.
You can't
We're
just
fine.
out of character talk whenever you want, though.
Yeah,
Oh.
but I think we were speaking in character there because I felt like it. I was asking as hater in
Makes
person.
sense.
You guys can step out of character and still have characters in the game hear you.
Good to know. I hadn't considered that.
It's almost as if your characters are stuck in place and they can't just be like, all right, let's have a huddle.
All right, team, huddle up.
Oh, we need that spell where you can talk through copper wire, whatever it is.
So, guys, I'm gonna say it for me. I want to leave the decision to Allah because it's his amulet, and if we really want to get back and follow that, we can stay here. I mean, I
My
don't know
decision
how
has
valuable
already been
the amulet
stated.
is and everything. So I'm just out of character. Hater is just interested in getting a steady supply of food. So
Wait,
Yeah, we've already
Hadar's
settled the
just
food
concerned
situation.
about food? This changes everything.
yes,
We've
it's a
already settled your
complex
food
character
situation.
design.
So a little bit before high sun, the dwarf Lai would come back to consciousness and sort of wake up, kind of staring off at this group who's kind of standing around him at that point.
Are we able to take a short rest then?
You all most certainly can take a short rest.
Nice. Well, then, as he comes to, I guess Tynus would just sort of get up from where he was sitting and say, "Ah, it's good to have you back."
Is that deception? Is that a performance? How are you saying this? Because the last time you guys talked, you all attacked him.
He was just saying that sort of in his general sort of friendly way that he tends to talk unless he has reason to not. So it was a genuine statement of, "It's good to have you back. We have much to discuss."
So roll a persuasion.
Okie doke. That's an 11. Hey, with a -1, that's not bad.
Yeah. Keep your bullshit to yourself. Why are you still here? What's going on?
Well, there's still the matter of our amulet that we needed to search your wagon for. That's why all of this even transpired.
Murderous brigands on the coastway. What a surprise.
We mean no murder. We just want to find what was stolen from us.
And just to be clear as well, we don't think for a second that you guys actually stole it. What we think is that somebody else in the caravan is doing something shady. They stole it, hid it on your wagon, and then when they eventually get to where we're getting to, they were going to steal it back off your wagon. So, I see you as friends, to be honest with you. We don't mean any trouble. Regrettable things went the way they did, but it was kind of fun. But yeah, we don't want any trouble. We don't want any bad blood between us. We just want to find this amulet and carry on with our trying to find out why somebody would steal something from us and then hide it on your wagon.
Let's see. Fun makes me want to give you a straight roll. The initial thought of the way you say that makes me want to give it a disadvantage because Tynus already failed a persuasion. So, I assume you're trying to be genuine, which I would take as a persuasion check. Does that sound right, Josh?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so let me have a straight roll as he seems perfectly angered right up until you speak of it as fun and you kind of see a smirk across his face.
I didn't want to interrupt, but can I assist him verbally and possibly to give him advantage?
Well, I already gave him advantage, is what I'm saying. He was at
Oh, okay.
disadvantage to make a persuasion because Tynus has already failed a persuasion.
Gotcha.
A measly
Gotcha.
10.
You feel like you almost break through his shell, but then he kind of gets the same air about him, and begrudgingly as he kind of stands to, he throws back the tarpaulin on his cart, and brigands be brigands. You can search the cart, as it would seem you're willing to take it for blows. And fun be damned, I'm not willing to die this day. I've got a brother to handle elsewhere. And as he throws back the tarpaulin, you all would see about 8 different crates. The 3 that he would have shown you all in the initial negotiation to basically sell you the right to look through his goods. You see the different cooking oils as well as perfumes in those 3 initial crates, where it's cooking oils, perfumes, and then really nice perfumes. So those are the first 3 crates. You all would see a fine, extremely beautiful golden chest that is approximately the size of a pauldron or like a shoulder piece of armor. And then there's 4 other very well wrought but not necessarily as ornate pieces that comprise the rest of the cart's goods.
Oh. Do we recognize any of these goods from the towns that were raided?
I mean, they're all chests.
Oh, I see.
We appreciate your honesty, Master Dwarf, in fulfilling our agreement. Sorry that it was struck to blows, but we can't argue that it wasn't a good time. To tell you the truth, we may have underestimated you, as I'm sure you could agree that you underestimated us. I consider us to be friends and equals after this battle, and I will give him the nod and then proceed to search one of the crates. I guess I'll go for like the more ornate one.
And Tinus will be looking through just one of the other ones that he didn't show us initially.
Is your find item thing still up?
No, it's gone.
No. At this point, it would have ended.
As you all go to the crates, the finest of them is very clearly locked, and you do not actually see any sort of locking mechanism. Two of the other fine but not nearly as ornate crates are in a very similar state where they don't have apparent locking mechanisms, but don't even necessarily show signs of how to open them, and two of the others would open kind of free will. So if Tinus goes to one of the ones that just sort of opens, you can roll an investigation. How do you want to approach when you go up to that finest crate or finest chest, and it is essentially like a cube? It's not like, it doesn't show any signs of being something that opens.
Master
that's a no.
Dwarf, this is interesting to say the least. How exactly am I to search this?
Well, that tells me you weren't sent here for me, and that's comforting. And you see as he like spins the signet ring on his finger, and as he waves it over the chest, he seems to like kind of pause for a moment. Let me have you roll a perception check with advantage. That'll be high enough. You don't have to go for advantage. As he kind of does a little like a little bit of like a flourish basically over the crate, you notice as it starts to start a mechanism in place where you see like a bas-relief of like a little dwarf starts to move on the top of the crate, and apparently he has started to use some sort of magic to begin to like open this thing. And this dwarven miner basically starts to move, and very similar to like a grandfather clock with the like mechanisms where the creatures like come to life at the hours, it starts to like move across this entire crate before like he kind of hits into this like vein of rock, and the this crack like lights up with a fire, and it starts to glaze around the outside of the case, and as it opens up, it like snaps open about like just a few inches, like enough that you can't see in yet, but it is clearly like opened up into the chest. And when you would open up to look inside of it, there would be a single potion, and it seems to be a clear, almost silvery liquid that has just many floating dots of red just kind of like suspended inside of this clear silvery liquid.
So it's
Would
a
I
large
have any
chest?
idea what it is?
Let me have you roll an Arcana check.
I am assuming with the 9, I didn't find the amulet in that chest that Tinus checked.
You go through the chest, and there seems to be nicer bits of clothing inside of there. There's some very fine items, but you don't see anything in there that appears to be an amulet. There doesn't seem to be any jewelry inside of there. The potion, as far as you could tell, seems to be, or at least recalls, something that you've seen different soldiers take into war. It seems to be some sort of a potion of invulnerability.
Interesting. But that's the only thing that's inside that chest?
Yep, it's just a single chest. It's about a third of the size of the chest itself. The chest is extremely fine wrought on the outside, and the inside is like this just bundle of silk that seems to be presented inside of there simply for protecting that potion.
Affirmative.
Tynus will begin looking into one of the other free opening chests.
You can roll another investigation there. What's everyone else doing at that point?
That one's a natural 20.
I'm probably doing nothing.
I mean, I'd like to help search to speed things up a little bit. Maybe search a different chest.
When you start to approach one of the other chests, you see as the dwarven master has to like kind of nod to the hammer bearer, and he goes over and kind of draws out this small like satchel where he starts to pull like key after key from it, and it takes him a few minutes to like basically come up with these keys, but he seems to approach with like a single key each time before he eventually unlocks each chest one after the other.
Nice and secure. I like it.
Let's see. The next chest that you would find, you would go through, it seems to be very like true to form dwarven goods. There's nothing like especially ornate about anything in particular, but it's a lot of different like gems and what appears to be like lesser trade goods, things that like to most races they are extremely valuable, but it's almost like the dregs of what dwarves would mine and come up with different things like almost like the like spatter of smelting gold like collected into like little beads. But as you kind of go through that chest, you kind of have to take a moment here and there to constantly like show a different like piece of like what only after like looking at it is like failed like wrought jewelry, to kind of show them to Arlisle over and over again, and each time he like looks at it, it's like, nope, that's not my amulet. But like as you guys kind of look through, it seems like that is just like a chest of different goods that perhaps he carried as like wealth along the road.
Yeah, Tynus will, after showing Arlisle all the different treasures, close the chest without taking anything and say, well, there wasn't in either of those two free opening ones. Let's check one of the other locked ones.
All right, does anybody else want to search? Like let me have, I know Arlisle searching one, but just for anybody else, like he can only do so much as the only person.
No, I plan on keep searching. I just didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, so let me have Doc do another search as well. But Doc and Arlisle investigation.
It's 2 for me.
The other two locked chests seem to be of like platinum coin. They have extremely fine, so like Doc would see some gems in there that upon like a little closer investigation are extremely fine, multifaceted, finished gems. Absolutely beautiful, like with many facings. Arlisle would see a chest that is almost the exact same. Each of them is about like a third of the way filled. And as like Arlisle's kind of going through, he sees nothing but platinum coins and like this like spots these different gems inside of it. Nothing that really shows off like what in particular the gems are. But these two chests are apparently like more finished trade goods. They're actually like finished pieces that are like done and like serviceable for sale to final user. whereas the other chest that Tynus would have just went through is just kind of like essentially like dwarven trash that is valuable to others. But those three chests would all kind of lead towards the idea that this person traveled wherever they were going with money to buy something extremely valuable, and they seem to have spent a good chunk of their money. But none of it contains the amulet.
Only one more chest to search. This must be the one.
That's all of the chests.
Oh,
But we got
Two
the
locked.
idea it's
Well,
there.
Yep. 2 locked, 2 unlocked, and the fine one that Doc went through first, and then 2 perfumes and 1 cooking oil. That's what you guys have all gone through.
Check under the car, maybe see if it's like hanging from it or taped to the bottom or something. I don't know.
yeah, just gonna check the floor of the wagon under the chests at this point.
Let me have an investigation with advantage from Arlau.
And while this is going on, I'll just say to the Master Dwarf, well, to tell you the truth, the fact that it wasn't locked in one of these chests gives me much more assurance that we can trust you. Not that I didn't already, but we'll just look around a little more just to make sure somebody didn't stash it.
You're somewhat hesitant to kind of get down on the ground and really look under the cart, but as you kind of like do almost like pull-ups, like kind of like using your arm strength to like hold yourself off the dirt to kind of look around the bottom, doesn't seem to be anything across the bottom or hidden like on the underside of the wagon itself.
I just wanted to, as I saw Arla looking at the car, I would be like, what are you looking for? And also join him looking under the car.
I already gave him advantage for Tynus helping him.
All right, okay.
Oh, Tynus wasn't helping him search under the wagon. I said Tynus is gonna search the floor of the wagon under the chests. So
All
like
right,
where
well,
the chest
I
was.
gave him advantage for that. You guys do not see anything on the floor of the wagon.
Fair enough.
All right.
This is very strange. Tynus will cast the spell again, just to again reconfirm that this is the wagon that amulet is located in.
You circle around, and it pings.
It is here. The magic
It
is
must
not.
be hidden.
It has to be somewhere. It's not inside any of the chests, at least none of the ones that we searched. Perhaps we need to search the oils and perfumes. Maybe it's under the merchandise. And
Those would have effectively been searched when you all before the fight.
fair enough. This is quite strange. It is here, but we haven't been able to locate its direct location. Do I feel any specific pulls in towards any of the chests as he is now, like literally in the midst of all of them? Do any of them have that magic pull stronger than any of the other chests?
Nope.
What do y'all make of this? The spell is not failing. I can assure you of that.
I think you guys are just blind.
You think maybe we just searched poorly?
No, we were pretty thorough.
Is there
Yes.
somewhere that would like strike us out where it could potentially be stashed, like an area that could be like a hidden compartment or something that just kind of like sticks out? It's definitely not on the person of one of the dwarves, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can basically use that spell to search each of the crates, kind of walking it past Tynus, as well as each of the dwarves, and confirm that it's not in one of their 8 chests, and it's not on one of the dwarves, and then him walking around the cart again, like, certifies that it is on the cart, and that's when the spell would run out.
So it's the cart itself, not the merchandise within it. So is it hidden in the planks of wood? Let's check the wheels. And Tynus is going to go take a real close look at those wheels to see if maybe it's hidden in the spokes or somehow been embedded.
You want to break one of the wheels?
Oh no, not breaking, just a very thorough look with the eyes.
It's not there.
Vicious will go under the cart and look.
It's not there. You guys aren't going to find it by searching the same places at this point. You have essentially failed to search for this item. It is on the cart, and that's what the magic will tell you. If you want to go any further, you guys have to straight up destroy his wagon because you have failed to search for it.
There's no justifying destroying the wagon itself. But we do know now for a fact that one, it was stolen, and two, the dwarves aren't the one who stole it.
We could just probably ask the dwarves if they have some hidden drawers on the car, probably.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And once
But
again,
they
the dwarves are furious at the idea that they've stolen the thing.
I don't think it means like have they hidden anything. I mean, just like purely, do they have anything on the cart which are like cubby holes or hidden compartments that we can check? Again, reasserting that we don't think they've stolen it. Just
No,
do they
that's
have
my
any...
point, though. The idea of saying, do you guys have a secret compartment where somebody could have hid it, they take as another accusation that they've stolen it, and are once again furious because they've now allowed you to search their entire cart, and you have all the proof in the world that they did not steal it.
Well, this is quite disturbing. Well, at this point, there's no reason for us to continue holding these fine dwarves back. We've done the search as best as we can, and while we know it's there, there's no particular way we could find it ourselves. Um, I suppose we'll just have to allow them on their way for now. I can't imagine there's anything else we could do. And Tynus will get out of the wagon proper and just sort of make sure all their chests are closed. Basically, set them up to travel again because nothing we can do at this point.
Now I'll address the main dwarf again. Master Dwarf, we do appreciate you hearing us out and giving us the opportunity to look for ourselves. You have gained our trust. Amongst other things, we definitely respect you as warriors as well. What is your name?
Kind of looks across his cart, fully like turned upside down, essentially. You have an interesting definition of trust. But you can continue to call me Lai.
It's nice to meet you, Lai. I'm Doc, and these are my companions. We do appreciate you allowing us to look here, and don't mean to pry any further, but you don't appear to be the average merchant, so to speak. You're quite proficient in combat and appear to be a little wealthier than I'd assume. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly is your journey leading you to or from?
You saw exactly what my journey was leading me to. Now it's time for me to retake what my brothers have taken from me.
Doomseeker Civil War.
Yeah, so out of character, that potion is essentially the potion that he used in your previous campaign to cheat on his brothers. This is a twist on that because it is not the same timeline. So for what you can gather here, this is Jean Doomseeker heading back to take the Citadel Adbar from Goderic, who actually won the combat, and Jean was exiled.
This is so cool. Like, just out of character. But for now, oh wait, no. Sorry, Doc's talking.
Oh no, you're good. I'm good with everything. I mean, I feel like basically he's made it clear that our roles have prevented us from finding the amulet. So I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
Yeah, I can't let you guys roll infinitely. There's no reason to base anything on a die roll. If you can search infinitely.
I'm sorry, Arlisle. I understand how significant a symbol of one's divine patron can be to them. But in this case, while we know where it is, we can't find it. We'll
It's
have
no
to
problem.
proceed on.
Yeah, the way I see it is that, we're not really any further away from what we were intending to do by not finding it. We know these dwarves haven't taken it. We know that somebody in the caravan has taken it, and they're stashing the stolen wares with other people. Sure, it's a shame we can't find it, but I can always buy a much prettier and nicer one. I'm sure Soon would approve of that anyway. So we can proceed. We can carry on, try and find the potion, and try and find out who actually is bothering to steal this stuff.
Let me have you roll an insight check, Arla. You are pretty confident at that point that somebody is likely to have stolen this item, hidden it on the dwarves in an effort to oust you all, because they wanted to see how you all would react and to see what your standard operating procedure was. And at this point, I think, bearing that you share it with everybody, you all would have some level of feeling disappointed that you basically showed your hand in that moment of searching these dwarves and taking it to combat.
I'll share that with the group.
I'd feared as much. We aren't particularly the most subtle of groups.
No, but maybe that means now that they'll try something a bit different, maybe act out of what their original plan was, and that's when, we'll get someone. We'll see someone slip up at some point. We definitely need to try and catch up with the rest of the caravan. That needs to be priority number one.
Yes, let's proceed onward. No need to hold this position anymore. Thank you once again for your time, dwarves. We took nothing from you, so you maintain all of your wares and items. Uh, you may
Keep your
proceed
words
onward.
to yourself, cleric. We don't care for your niceties.
Understandable.
Well, either way, as soon as we catch up to the main caravan, the first night of ale's on me.
So yeah, you all would be leaving here a good few hours after the high sun, and you can try to make better time, but let's see. Let me look at your skills for what it's worth. You guys can head out, but essentially there's no reason to assume that you can necessarily make better time than the other caravans would. Everybody seems to make a pretty similar pace as you had been making. If it feels at all faster, maybe it's because you're heading downhill instead of climbing or on flat ground.
We don't seem to be making much progress towards the other caravan. But perhaps we'll be able to catch them in Dragon Reach when they stop for rest.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are not fast enough.
So as it kind of progresses forward, you all make it to the foothills by the time the sun begins to set on the troll skull or troll claws. You all now have, I believe, 4 wagons in your train, and approximately 5 people total are walking.
We'll definitely have to set up camp for the night.
I guess it's 4 people at that point would be walking. The little rock gnome, and then the 3 of you who have lost your wagon. So you all can take a long rest as you rest for the evening. If you care to do anything in that night, let me know. Otherwise, we will progress off that next day.
Assuming standard watch, yeah?
If you guys want to do watches, I will do watches. But when I say you can take a long rest and we're going to the morning, I'm trying to move the thing forward. You guys got those potions stolen because you asked me to sit through watches.
Makes sense.
So if you guys want to go through the process of watching through the evening, we can. But I'm trying not to act out every single day of this campaign, of this portion of the campaign, because I do not think travel is entertaining.
And we'll just lose all our other stuff.
Well, it just so happened that in the course of doing those watches, I think Vicious and Hadar rolled extremely low at the 2 times that I rolled a 19 and a 20 for something to actually happen. So not only does something have to get rolled on my end to happen, but you all also rolled really, really low for not noticing it happen. It's a perfect storm of shit hits the fan.
If you'd stolen food, he would have noticed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I'm with you. Like, while I'm having fun playing the campaign, I definitely don't need to like do watch every single night unless you ask for it.
Oh yeah, I'm totally on board with that. I just didn't want to make any assumptions.
Right. Don't want to be in the situation where we don't set a watch and then we get attacked.
Yeah, the entire caravan has always been setting out watches, and you all have been a part of those watches.
Well, alrighty, let's proceed on to a morning then. I will say, as morning comes and Tynus does his morning prayer, I did change my spells around. Basically, I just
Is it
took off.
updated on D&D Beyond?
Yeah, it's on D&D Beyond.
Right, that's all that matters.
So yeah, I mean, as morning comes, Tynus will say to Hadar, "I have wonderful news for you, friend.
You found the amulet.
Even more wonderful, especially in regards to you. Lathander has graced me with the ability to create food and water through magic, so you will no longer have to worry about hunger."
Wait, you tell me you have such a useful ability and everything, and you didn't use it before?
I hadn't thought I'd need it, but given our current circumstances and your need for sustentation, I now have it. But yes, I could have done this before.
Hidar, please roll a Constitution saving throw.
Saving? Wait, I did the normal one.
That's good enough.
Alright.
While you eat yourself nearly to feeling ill, you do not get ill, as Tynus creates 45 pounds of food and you take it upon yourself to eat far too much of it. And you now recognize that every single time he conjures food, I'm going to make you make a saving throw, because apparently your character has no ability to sustain himself from overeating.
That sounds great, and that sounds like exactly the thing Ada would do. Oh, thank you, Titus, for the food.
And while
I'm
he
glad I
makes
have purchased your loyalty, my friend.
And while he makes a massive amount of food, it is absolutely tasteless.
Man, this tastes like some fine food.
I'm glad you at least enjoy it. He'll say, eating probably the most bland cheese sandwich ever, and just filling himself on that and water.
You see, like, Ada is just patting on top of his stomach, which is more warm than ever before.
I'm good. It's good to know that I have bought your loyalty going forward. Yes.
Wait, what are you talking about? Loyalty? I mean, you have food, a great friend of mine.
Wonderful. Let's proceed onward. And he's not going to make any effort to pack that food or anything. He's just going to let it sit there and spoil.
You want to kill Hader or what? I mean, he's gonna try to eat everything.
Well, we are moving, so the food has just basically been conjured on, the various things we used for surfaces.
So you see Hadar as he starts stuffing his pockets with sausage.
Bland sausage.
Sweet, sweet pocket sausage, being the true Frank. So as you all progress forward for that day, you start to travel through the remaining leg of the Troll Claws. You start to progress through much of Dragonspear, and at times you catch sight of the caravan ahead of you, but by and large, you all don't feel like you are making up any ground. There are different points where you all take breaks, and then different points where you all try to make up ground on them, and by and large you feel like you're keeping at a pretty similar distance from the caravan that seems to have left ahead of you all.
If we're going to be making progress towards them, we're going to have to find some other way to progress faster. Does,
Well, when they stop, we can just keep going. Catch them up.
Without risking the health of your horses, that is not a possibility. You are still running at the pace of the horses.
yes, we'll have to wait until they get to Dragon's Reach, the fortress itself.
So if there's nothing in particular for that day, you guys will basically make camp again, have a pretty similar evening. Let's see. Oh shit, I forgot about the rain. As you all kind of wake up the next day, you will be surrounded by just blackness all across the ground. It seems to be some sort of like fungal spores have kind of grown up. This is the first day that you all would be outside of the rains that have plagued you almost since leaving Baldur's Gate. And the entire ground just seems to be black. And every single step that you make, there's just a dust cloud of dark black spores. And as you start to move around a little bit more, you all would see different points where there's almost large black mushrooms that have like stood up almost like trumpets, and they're just like long wavy edges to them, and they are almost 2 to 3 feet tall in any given one of these at that point.
Pleasant.
Hmm. Do these look like the same kind of mushrooms that we discovered in that cave that could attack people?
They do not indeed.
Good to know. Let's just proceed past these.
The entire wagon train is afraid to move.
Have we ever seen anything like this? Like, do we have any idea what they are or how they grew so fast?
Roll a history check for me. You're familiar enough with how, like, some mushrooms seem to work, that they come about after large rains. But for what you can tell, there doesn't seem to be, anything other than the rain as a cause for it. And then once the rains have abated, you, just gather that this is, like, their growth rate. As the party sort of delays leaving because of the fear of these mushrooms, you all almost feel like you can watch them growing in real time. Like if you go into your tent to start to pack up your goods, you like come out and you're like, mushroom 4 feet tall when I went in there. Let me have you roll a nature check, Doc.
Could I offer him advantage by also checking using my herbalism kit?
You can roll a separate check with intelligence.
Alrighty.
Doc, you're relatively sure that these are poisonous mushrooms and that they are probably deadly. And as Tynus kind of comes back to you all, he has the same thought in mind that these seem to be a poisonous and deadly variety that are extremely dangerous to inhale.
Okay, so we're not going to inhale them.
We need to make very quick time out of these mushrooms' growth area. Their spores will be very dangerous for us to inhale. And let's see. I guess to counteract that, Tynus will begin casting burning hands ahead of the caravan to sort of burn a path through these mushrooms.
I would like to fashion some sort of a face covering, like a N95. What is it called? Handkerchief, like covering over my face and nose.
Yeah, so each of you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw for me.
A mask, so to speak.
That's a pass.
You feel pretty safe as you kind of mull about.
Yeah, Tinus is burning these mushrooms down.
So as you clear a path, everybody is still hesitant to gather up their things because it is all around you. It's growing everywhere.
We must move through the path. Staying still will only lead to death. I have cleared a path for now. Proceed forward as quickly as you can. You are safer moving than you are being stationary.
I agree.
And Tinus is just sort of putting the urgency in the rest of the caravan, trying to get them to move through the path as quickly as possible.
You start to hear people just screaming in agony.
Who?
Ah, crap.
Right now, pretty much 3 of the different people, 4 of them, 5, 6 of them.
Oh,
One
no.
person is not. 7, 8. I think you've got about 20 people in your caravan, and at least 8 of them right now are screaming in agony.
So just from being near the mushrooms?
I don't think you understand what spores are when you say you're gonna burn the mushrooms out of there. Like,
Tinus is a dumbass.
spores are in the air. There's millions of them from any given one of these mushrooms.
I see.
So does anybody else start to move around from the caravan, from you all?
I'm going
Well,
to
I
cover
agree. We
my
need to move
mouth.
out of here. It's not going to be any better if we stay.
Roll a
Yeah,
Constitution saving throw for me as you start to move.
You don't want to disturb the mushrooms. That's what's making the spores come out.
Yeah, well, everything's happening. I'm going to form a cloth and form a little bit of cloth in front of my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, same with Tinus. Just gonna put something to keep me from breathing in these spores.
I'll do the same and ask Green Imsa to do the same as well.
Green Imps is among those who are screaming right now. As far as I'm concerned, I rolled for one of the NPCs who passed their save. Everybody else is screaming in pain. And then it's up to you all as you actually start to move. But let me just have Arlisle and Hadar roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Ten.
Yep, you all feel relatively healthy at that point. And the rest of the caravan seems absolutely useless. But nobody is dying.
What's wrong with these guys?
Must be the mushroom.
Roll a medicine check, Hadar.
Well, it's not like we can tell them to stop breathing.
You're vaguely aware of some monk rituals where you all imbibe different hallucinogens, and these people are tripping off of their fucking asses. Whatever is in the spores has them living through some absolutely horrendous shit, and they are basically coming terms with some of their like inner demons as they trip the fuck out, and they are useless for about 8 hours.
Damn, guys, seems like someone doesn't know how to handle their drugs. Yeah, guys, I feel like I remember from my past where I was in one monastery and everything, and we did a little bit of experimenting with some drugs and everything, and I think these guys are having a trip, and I think it will take some time for them to get down. Probably a good idea to move out here, but I think that's nothing dangerous. So everybody should stay calm and just leave.
So you think we should just wait out this situation, Hadar?
I don't know if it's a good idea to wait here because these there's a reason they they got the trip, and I feel like if we stay here, it's gonna continue forever.
Well, clearing the mushrooms didn't work unless I don't think I could. How big is this field of mushrooms around us?
Pretty much as far as you all can see, you can pretty much gather that most of this area here is likely under this same growth of mushrooms. This is like Pacific Northwest. There's a mushroom the size essentially of all of Oregon. You're in a pretty similar situation here.
Oh crap.
This is a mycelium that is this entire area. Everything as far as the eye can see where you are at is black with these spores.
Well, our only option is either to leave them or somehow get them to move. And given that they are completely out of it, I don't know how we would do that.
I mean, we can knock them out.
Maybe knock. You think we should knock them out and just move the caravan along in spite of them?
Probably. I mean, we
Did
could...
the horses appear to be affected by them?
The horses definitely seem to be like uneasy and afraid in the same way as everybody else beforehand. As everybody starts to trip out, I don't actually know if horses can hallucinate, so I'm gonna go ahead and say they just seem to act erratic, and I don't see a reason to force them to stampede, but I'm gonna say no. But
Scared horses.
they're not like controllable either. So they're not like blatantly hallucinating, but they're also like essentially still frightened in the same way.
Does it seem like an option that we could like subdue the people that are tripping or whatever and then continue moving? Or does it seem like that's not even an option at this point and that we have to wait for the rain to subside?
Well, no, the rain already has subsided. The mushroom growth was after all of these days of rain that you all have been inside of. Most of these people seem to be almost like rocking in their own worlds. So it's not necessarily a question of getting them into a wagon so much as you have to do everything to actually help them.
And I tried doing a 5-point lay on hands on Green Imsa to see if that heals her and gets her out of the state. Because apparently I can use 5 points from lay on hands to cure one target of disease or neutralize a poison affecting it.
It's a toxin, and a poison are different, but at the same time, I don't see a reason why she couldn't gain a little bit of her composure back. So you are able to gain like a little bit more of herself back, but she almost still like is like perpetually like glancing over her shoulder like she's gonna surprise something sneaking up on her. But it does feel a little bit like that helps.
I don't know how you guys would feel about me doing the same for the horses and seeing if we can get out of here with that and put cloths over everyone's faces that we can.
That seems like a good idea. And Tinus will begin trying to assist the people who are tripping out into getting back into their wagons so that we can move this train along ourselves.
So you've got 8 horses. I'm not sure what your pool actually gives you.
4 more because I've got 20 points left. And try and put cloth over the horses' faces as well.
Right, we don't need the people to be okay, we just need the horses to be able to move them, and then eventually we'll think that the people will come around.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. So could we like use the heal? Could Tinus use his healer's kit to make, I guess, horse face masks?
Yeah, I mean, you can go through a little process to try to make up little things. So what's the thought that you all want to do on these horses? Like, let me actually have like a complete thought on what you guys are trying to do.
I'll use lay on hands to remove the effect on 4 horses, I guess. And I think what's happening there as well is Tynus is going to craft some form of protective breathing masks for them to try and reduce the amount of breathing in of spores they're going to do as we get the entire caravan out of here, prioritizing keeping the horses straight with anyone who's affected to be on the caravans, not having to run or walk alongside of us, and get the whole caravan as far out, try and get them out of this area to where it's clear of mushrooms, although we don't know how far away that'll be yet.
Yep, that's exactly what Tinus is doing.
Can I see about potentially like scouting ahead to try to find like a more clear path so that we're not just walking deeper and deeper into these?
I mean, you can certainly scout, but it's again that same idea that it's pretty much the entire area as far as you can view. So you kind of start to scout ahead, and you would just catch more and more sight of these spores growing up. What 4 horses are you looking to essentially try to cure? That was my main idea.
I guess the lead horses, the ones at the front of each caravan.
All right, so you're just going to get like 2 from one cart and 2 from the other, and the carts that are leading.
Well, how many horses are there pulling each cart?
2 horses on each cart. There are 4 carts in your little caravan right now.
Then yeah, I guess 1 from each.
That's what I was looking for you to say. So you all can basically take over. I don't believe anybody has proficiency in animal handling. So I will need 1 person from each cart to make a wisdom check to try to run the actual horses. And it's going to be at disadvantage.
Doc will sweet talk his horse as he leads it on.
I rode wisdom and not animal handling.
Yeah, you don't have proficiency. None of you have proficiency in animal handling, so it doesn't actually matter whether you roll wisdom or animal handling.
Yeah, it's a +3 either way. So yeah, Tinus, I guess taking the 14, will just try to gently coax along one of the horses from one of the carts, the sane one.
No, it's still 2 horses.
Oh, I see. Well,
There's 2 horses
14.
on each cart. One of them is like cured from Arlisle. That's my point.
Ah, well, then I guess most of this is just going to be struggling to keep the not cured one from running over the cured one.
I'm a -1 on wisdom, so if somebody else wants to do the roll, and I'll just be the odd one out who doesn't try.
Good idea doing 1 on each cart though, Josh.
Thanks, mate. It's not my first time escaping a mass swarm of mushrooms that could potentially kill everyone. I run in strange
Right.
circles.
As nobody steps forward, 2 of the NPCs grab the reins and they try to rein in the horses. In general, the carts make an extremely slow rate of progression forward as you all try to move on. After a while, you are continually bringing up more and more of these spores as you kind of blaze a trail through them. But most of this day is spent making very, very little forward movement and progressing what seems deeper into the actual spores that have grown about. But a little bit before evening, the growth seems to be slowing, and a lot of these different mushrooms have grown almost like 6 or 8 feet tall. But everything seems to almost be abating as the water of the previous days of rain has kind of been sopped up into the mushroom.
I really don't want to meet any mushrooms that are 10 feet or 8 feet tall. Like, this sounds like an awful place to hang out.
Almost as if there were a reason that these merchants would pay somebody 10 gold a 10-day to guard them as they tried to make this trail.
Yeah, but they're not paying us 10 gold each. They're paying us 1 copper each.
You guys didn't try to negotiate. You sent Tinus forward and he's like, hey, can I pay you money to guard your shit? And the guy's like, yeah, of course you can pay me money to guard your shit. Arlisle and Doc are getting paid, though. So you all can make camp again. You are hopefully a day out of Dragonspear. You've almost entirely lost sight of anything else on the road. As you do get closer to the crossroad south of Dragonspear, though, you do start to see that there are occasional wagons along this other road, and that's around when you all would set in for the day with just inside of the horizon a view of this crossroads. You otherwise have a rather uneventful night and can take another long rest and wake up the next day. Everybody seems to be fine. They don't seem to have any lasting effects from inhaling the spores. And the next day, while there are large tree-like mushrooms, the actual mycelium seems to have been absorbed back into the earth, and it is no longer like a black coating across all of the earth.
Nice. So they're more like trees now than like active, like spory mushrooms.
Yeah. They're like 6 or 8 feet tall, tree-like substances. They're still, they're essentially like, black, damn, I can't believe I can't think of the word right now for them. Chanterelles.
But really big.
That is a picture posted to Discord for everybody's viewing pleasure. Only approximately like 1,000 times that size.
That'd be spooky.
Yeah, chanterelles are absolutely delicious. They are a wonderful mushroom.
Hadar, do you want to go up and try chewing on one of them?
Oh man, I mean, I'll go. I'm not into having a trip right now. I think I know my kind of food, and this doesn't look like the food I.
Oh, everybody is good after that night of travel. The two
Oh,
of
that
you
was
were...
random click. Sorry about that.
Gotcha. The two of you were both wrong. They were not poisonous. They were not fatal. 10 to 14 was the point where you guys can identify them, but you misidentify them as poisonous, which is like how that check plays out. So it's kind of fun. But as you all wake up the next day, everybody seems fresh and feeling well enough to move along. The caravan gets back on the road, and you otherwise have a pretty uneventful day as you make your way into Dragonspear. And it would kind of be towards the evening that you start to arrive in the first like bits of outskirts. You do not make it into the like guarded city per se, but you are inside of a lot of the like settled area around the general keep of Dragonspear. Dragonspear itself is still probably about 20 or so miles off into the horizon for you, but it is a large keep that stands above this whole area, kind of looking down across these plains. And the keep itself is built on the side of a bit of a mountain. It all is walled in, and then across like about 20 or 30 miles in each direction of this, there are sprawling like hovels and city-like buildings of essentially like the normal peasantry who would grow up around this area as more and more houses are built. But you all are welcome to make camp, try to find a place to like get a room. It's up to you all what you'd like to do, but you are essentially on the outskirts of Dragonspear.
We can assume the other caravan is either already passed through here or is in the keep itself for their rest. Should we consider... no, never mind. I'll keep that to myself. Did we want to set up camp outside or find rooms to rest in?
Regular room, I think.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to finding some more pleasant amenities after being on the road so long. Do we only get paid at the very end of the journey, or are we getting paid along the way?
I don't see any reason why they couldn't necessarily pay you upon getting here.
That's how long we've been traveling for so far.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I won some money gambling, so I have money for what I need to do. So, yeah, I'll try to secure a room, like look for some kind of lodging, tavern-y area. Nothing particularly fantastic, I don't think. Suppose we can probably find something mid-grade while we're here. Lay our heads, have a nice little rest, a good warm meal. maybe a couple drinks and some fun.
Yeah, so this right now is just at the 10-day mark. So Arlisle can get 10 gold pay, Doc can get 8 gold pay, and Tinus and Vicious, Berther does not have money to pay you. And he kind of reminds you that your agreement was to loan him money, and that he would be able to pay you as well as pay you back upon making it to Watersteep.
Didn't Werther like go off without us when we convinced him to?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah, so he's gone. Bye, Werther. Well, let's find some resting places.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna look for a nice mid-range inn for us all to rest in.
Are the rest of the caravan here at Dragonspear?
Make a perception with disadvantage. You see no signs of any of the familiar wagons that you've traveled with in your caravan. So, what is the name of the tavern that you all go to?
Dickless Dons.
Please
All right.
no.
What is a serious name to the tavern that you all go to?
How about
Dragon's Tail.
The Dragon's Tail?
I feel like we're in a Dragon Spear. We have to have some dragon thing in it.
that's way better than what I was thinking.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. The Dragon's Tail is a small tavern. It's one of the first ones that you all come across. All of the actual shingles presented like on the roof are sculpted or are actually made of dragon scales, and it seems to have been fashioned in a way that the entirety of the inn snakes around into almost like a horseshoe in the shape of a dragon's tail, and the base and entrance of the actual inn itself seems to be like at this end point of the tail. So like the tail almost like peaks up at the last moment to create the little awning that you kind of walk into. And then inside of that horseshoe is where they have a small area that's a presentable place to have them take care of the horses. So the inn itself, like the inside of it, overlooks the horses, and the outside of it like overlooks like the actual area around. But you all are basically in that like southeasterly area below Dragonspear.
Well, yeah. Tinus will approach the tavern keeper and start discussing room prices for the party of 5.
Let's see. They have 3 rooms for rent. 2 of them are 8 silver for the night with 2 beds, and another is 3 silver with 3 like basically like just wooden cots that you can set up your actual like camping gear on. And then it is a silver a horse. That's not actually part of your group. Like you guys don't actually own the horse.
And it's safe to assume we would work out like arrangements to get back up in the morning with the group.
Theoretically, yes.
All right, so we have 2 rooms of 4 and 1 room of 3. So I guess Arlisle, since he's more used to comfortable living, will stay in one of the nicer rooms with the 2 beds, and then whoever's cool with roughing it like Tinus is can stay in one of the cot rooms where we just set up our camping gear.
So, hey guys, before we go to sleep, I just want to put it out there. I feel like we can get some information here in Dragonspear by just looking for people. First of all, we could ask them about the caravan we were in before, if they saw it, or if there's anything else going on here. I think we should gather some information. This probably would be a good thing. Just like, I mean, we are here in a tavern. I mean, a tavern is normally, from my experience, one of the best places to hear what's going on in the city and the area around it. And I feel like with so many people going to Dragonspear to go to the north, it's probably a good place to get some information. We might hit a jam if we just sit around somewhere and listen to people.
A very wise idea.
Yes, I think we could probably find some kind of useful information. We should try to keep a low profile, but just out of curiosity, what exactly are we looking for?
I feel like for everything that happens in it, I mean, if there's something that's not normal, yeah, like a dragon attacking a city would be a really interesting thing, but I feel like we should be happy with everything we get.
So we're just asking around for information about the caravan that we were initially a part of, and like when they passed through here and the like. And also we're asking if any sort of strange happenings occurred while they were passing through.
Wait, are you talking in character to the group, right? To us, or are you?
I mean, I'm speaking out of character. I'm just saying all this to help get a better idea of what I'm gonna have Tynus say. So me speaking out of character, sure, but I mean, uh,
Yeah, I just to let everyone know, we should probably do do not be directly asking the people, just more like I feel like we're in the tavern, we can just get ourselves to get a little drink with everyone in the tavern, and I feel like with a little bit of alcohol, someone will have a loosen up.
all right, sounds like a fine idea to me. Yeah, let's see. Da, 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 da. Then I already subtracted the silver from the party loot list, so uh, the rooms are paid for. Um, the tavern must have like an open area, yeah, like a I guess a bar area where people sit and have their drinks.
Yeah, it's generally kind of like almost like a cafeteria. It's pretty quick to gather that this isn't necessarily a traditional tavern so much as this is very clearly a roadside inn.
That makes sense. Well then, yeah, once the rooms are purchased and secured, Tynus will head to the cafeteria area, order let's see, a nice, sweet, warm kind of alcohol if they have anything of that nature, and sort of look around to see what kind of people we are looking at in the cafeteria at this time of day.
You are served a rice grain alcohol. If anybody is familiar with sake, that is essentially what you would receive.
I'm familiar, yeah. I've had some myself.
Yeah,
It's pretty strong. So yeah, with his sake, Tynus will pour himself a small bit and immediately take to looking around. Is anyone else joining him in this endeavor, or is he getting out of doing some field work on his own?
I just wanna ask, in what kind of cups is the sake served?
It's just like earthenware. They're probably like 3 or 4 ounce, but very small.
Yeah, I'm assuming the traditional serving, traditional setup for drinking sake. So he's basically taking large sips as he pours it into an earthenware basin that's very shallow, taking a sip and enjoying the aromatic nature of it while he looks around. But so I'm assuming Hadar is with Tynus.
Yeah, I would say so.
Would you like to try some, Hadar?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some on my own. And he's ordering the bartender. Could you get me some of that too?
Oh, most certainly. Just give me a few moments to set up another one for you.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
So you all see random travelers in this area. What in general are you trying to do? And what level of explicitly are you going to ask things? What level of implicitly are you going to try to imply things?
On the explicit level, Tynus is going to be asking um, anyone who doesn't actually look like a traveler, I guess. Someone who looks like they've been here for at least a few days, I guess, to describe the kind of person he's looking for. Explicitly, he's asking about uh, any recent caravans that have passed through, specifically one that might have included a familiar, um, what you call it, ceramic salesman. Um, that's what he's asking about, just to specifically ground it in that specific caravan, if possible. But he's generally asking explicitly about any interesting caravans that have passed through here. On the implicit level, he's going to be sort of implying that he's looking for like weird stories, like, oh man, that caravan that passed through recently looked like someone had been robbing them blind. Some of the merchants were checking their pockets every 5 minutes, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and Hader would be just looking for someone who's looking at them, or like if there's someone glaring at them from the place or anything like that.
So let me have Tynus do an investigation, Hadar do a perception.
Damn.
That's a 7 for the investigation.
You don't really feel like anybody is watching you. From what you can tell, you all seem to be just another set of uninteresting travelers along the road. From what you gather around this place, most of the people in this area are not really anything other than travelers. Most of this area kind of thrives off of the tradeway coming through the area. And while there are a few different people who seem to be perhaps a little bit more down on their luck, where they might be actually like stranded here, you don't get much out of them otherwise other than drunken ramblings of sorts. There's different talk from them about like some of the nobles of Baldur's Gate coming into the area and trying to assault Dragonspear. One of them rambles about these tiny creatures that have single eyes that are almost as large as the rest of their body, and they kind of like buzz around the area and seem to disintegrate people, and that people have gone missing because of those creatures. But other than like a few weird tales from drunkards, you don't really seem to get anything out of the actual people of this inn.
All right, Doc would like to. Sorry if you're done with that part. I didn't want to interrupt. Doc would like to look for two things. One, like the equivalents of a pawn shop, and two, a lady of the night.
So let me have you do, let's just do two different investigations. First for what you call the pawn shop, and the second will be for the convivial society.
I want to use a luck point on the investigation right there, and then this is the second one.
You don't have any problem finding either. You find just a typical like blacksmith and merchant. They don't seem to be affiliated with any of the larger guilds per se, but they do have their own unique like maker's mark to the different items that they have. What are you looking to do at the pawn shop?
I basically want to just like converse with them and see if, again, I'm kind of looking at the party that just came through, like our old caravan, and looking if anybody in particular was like in here trying to sell goods, or like trinkets, any valuables, anything like that, and then try to find like a description. Essentially, I'm hoping that I could figure out like who was stealing shit and then maybe like trying to unload it at these merchants.
He doesn't really have any information for you along that route. What he ends up being able to tell you is that most of his work is essentially like rehorseshoeing horses. I feel like that's still reshotting. But like basically like basic upkeep on the bridle, like the leather work and whatnot, like the actual metallics that is used in the horse like mounts and whatnot. But very typical things along the tradeway. Doesn't really have any particular information about any caravan one to the next. It's pretty clear speaking with this guy that, like, besides generally understanding the changes of the seasons, this is an area that has a constant flow of people, so nobody really sticks out one to the next. And he hasn't had anybody trying to sell anything that seems odd and out of the way, but occasionally he has people who basically like sell a weapon and buy a weapon of that same essential like make. So they are, instead of waiting to repair an item, they are like buying a new one and selling him the old one to essentially replace it for his stock.
Okay, and then can I also mention diamonds and see if anybody was trying to sell diamonds?
He wouldn't have any information on that as well.
Okay, okay. Is there somebody else that he would point me into, or does it just seem like this is the type of place that just wouldn't have somewhere that would buy diamonds?
He would be able to kind of tell you that you would have to go into the actual keep of Dragonspear and speak with the actual Lord's mage. It wouldn't be the type of thing where, as far as he knows, anybody outside of the actual Lord's manor would have any sort of money to deal in the trade of magical niceties. And that most of the people in this area are working with more utilitarian items. They're not necessarily dealing with such things as fine gems. And then again, you find the Convivial Society of the Faceless Ones. You find their guild house and are able to procure a person of the night. I never actually set guild prices for them, but 2 gold. No, 1 gold. I think 1 gold is quite rich prices. Actually, let me have you do a contested wisdom, because this person is essentially a mind reader. So they start by asking for a gold, but seem convinced that you don't actually have wealth along those prices, and settles at 7 silver, 5 copper.
Okay, okay. Is there 10 copper and a silver?
Yes, there is.
I like that you get the discount because you look poor and disreputable.
Yeah, that's the look I'm going for.
You get the skankiest women.
I like to think so. Thank you for the compliment, Jamie.
It's like, what's your type?
Well, the precedent that I
Cheap.
just set there to price them out, though, is there's going to be a contested wisdom check. If he wins by 5, they will reduce their price. If they win by 5, they will increase their price. But otherwise, they're going to have some level of a mental, like, understanding of how much wealth he has, and they're going to charge, like, a percentage of how much wealth he has.
Well, we've already proven that we have no concept of money or business.
And this is essentially a guild of changelings who are very much a good organization of business folk. So if that is otherwise the end of your day there, you all would have essentially like a slow day's travel, making your way through Dragonspear. But you could essentially make it to the other side of Dragonspear by the next evening if you head through the city directly.
Heading through the city, I guess Tinus will spend the time restocking rations and things of that nature. Just passing, I'll do that kind of transaction on my own. But as we are specifically passing through the city, Tinus will bring up to the party once again that we should consider purchasing some horses of our own. If we all are riding horses, we may be able to make faster time, moving along with our caravan to catch up with the main one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think me and Arlisle probably are good because we're like part of a wagon crew, but I can understand buying a horse instead of walking.
Like basically, assumedly, since there are 3 of us walking, the caravan that we're traveling with is moving slightly slower than a caravan that would be like on all horseback. So we could consider buying 3 horses to speed up our caravan and potentially catch the other one.
While you all are
Would that-
contemplating this, I'm going to take a restroom break here.
Hmm. So yeah, since Doc and Arlisle are basically able to travel along with the caravans that they're protecting, but Vicious, Hadar, and Tynus are all walking. If we are all on horseback, we could make the argument that we could, you know, move the horses faster than our walking pace, since assumedly up to this point the horses have been traveling at a pace where people on foot could keep up. And since we know for a fact that there are people in the caravan that we're trying to catch who are also on foot, if we're all on horseback, there is the possibility that we will be moving faster than them, and thus we can close that distance.
Sure. How much does a horse cost?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it if it'll help. I just know he said there was like 20 people in our caravan. So if you three are the only ones walking, I don't think that's a bad idea. But if there's still going to be a bunch of people walking, I'm not sure. Unless like we could put 2 people on each horse or something. I don't know.
Potentially, if we bought like a draft horse, we might be able to do that. I'm looking through my PHP right now.
But yeah, I'm not opposed to trying to catch back up to the old caravan.
Yeah, I think we all just sort of assume that's what our goal is at this point, to catch back up with them, because we know, at least to some extent, that there is some cult activity going on in that caravan, but not likely any going on in the small caravan that we have sequestered ourselves into.
I'm still curious as to what happened to that amulet, if it was in the wagon, but we couldn't find it.
Essentially, what happened was, at some point during our investigation rolls, we probably were searching the right chest, but we didn't roll high enough to find it in that chest. So, like, Tynus's first search was through the chest with clothing, and it was a really low roll. So, in my head, that was where it probably was, in that chest, but I just didn't roll high enough to find it. You know, the nature of dice in a dice game. So yeah, we could buy a draft horse for 50 gold pieces, and potentially, because our riding horse is 75. Since these horses are pulling wagons, we can assume they are draft horses. So one draft horse, I don't know about multiple people riding on one draft horse, but if we could buy one draft horse and then just like a wagon, like not like a merchant sized wagon, but just a general, like, carrying a few barrels wagon, we could have one person riding the draft horse and 2 people sit in that wooden wagon, depending on whether a wooden wagon of that size costs more than another horse. Fortunately, the PHB does not have a cost for wagon.
Yeah, again, I just think depending on how many people are actually walking, whether or not it's worth it.
Oh wait, here we go. A wagon is 35 gold pieces. So 80, it would in total cost us 85 gold pieces to do a draft horse and a wagon to carry us in. But yeah, this is just me speculating on how we could potentially speed up our travel to catch the other one. Uh, are we all sure we want to do that? Just to be
So
clear.
the walkers are not the slow part of this. The speed that the horses can travel is the speed of the wagon train.
Oh, okay. So buying more horses doesn't necessarily speed up our travel at all. It is the fact that we don't want to force our horses to overwork themselves that's keeping us slow.
You have to risk the horses' lives in order to try to catch up with the other wagon. Otherwise, you all are pretty certain that you have lost that wagon train.
Hmm. Ah, as a person who likes horses, like in real life, I don't like the idea of that. Uh,
And then as well, you also all confirmed that the amulet was not on a dwarf, nor was it in any of the chests. It was on or in the wagon.
fair, fair.
Since we're still travelling with that dwarven wagon, is there any opportunity for us to every now and again have another glance around it without removing everything from the wagon?
Like I said, at this point, you all have to destroy that wagon in order to search it again. I can't just let you roll infinitely to search something. You can only have so many checks.
So on the subject of trying to catch the other one, do we all want to, like, I will throw in my opinion on it is I would rather not try to kill those horses to catch up with the other wagon, and despite that being meaning that we have lost them for the course of this journey, that doesn't necessarily mean we're dead on arrival. But I'm definitely want to know what everyone else is thinking. I will gladly hold my opinions to myself if the rest of the party is on board with just pushing the horses to catch up. So, what's everyone else's thoughts?
Oh yeah, if you lose a horse while we're trying to catch up with them, then we might end up losing the caravan again because we can't keep up with less horses.
Yeah, but I mean, without pushing those horses, there's no way we're gonna catch the other caravan. So it's either push the horses and risk death or give up on catching the other one. Those are two options. I don't think there's much nuance in the middle there.
Out of character, this is me trying to do you all the favor of putting you inside of a caravan that does not know that you are enemies of the cult.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
The point is to give you all a new caravan because you have ousted yourselves so terribly, and they 100% know that you are searching for them. So finding that other caravan, this is me trying to get you guys away from that caravan because they know exactly who you are. And hopefully this time around, you might actually try to do stuff like Hadar said, and maybe check in the middle of the night when nobody is watching you.
Yeah, I like that idea to try to lay low, not worry as much about the stuff that got stolen from us, and then try to. It doesn't seem like as big a deal that they know we know each other, but keep it as if like we met along the road and we're not like a party of people.
Oh no, that plan's already out of the water because when we initially tried to join that other caravan, and I'm gonna blame Tynus again and myself for this. I was pretty explicit asking like, "Hey, can we join you as a group of 5?" So
Yeah,
I
you
think
guys were
that
basically
that
at
ship has
that area
sailed.
saying, we are 5 adventurers who's looking for 5 guards. And it's like, nope, that was not the mission that you guys were given by the Order of the Gauntlet or the Harpers. The Harpers are a group of people who are like, hey, you don't know I exist. And they do the Jedi hand wave.
Yeah, so the whole not be a party thing is that ship's long since sailed for us. But
Well, no, but with the new caravan, they don't know that we're like a group of adventurers. They might just think we're part of a caravan that broke off and got separated that's looking for a new caravan, right?
That out of character, that is my point of leaving with the caravan. You guys lost your caravan. You are now a part of the carts that you all kept behind. And this road is filled with wagons that are heading north. By the time you leave Dragonspear, you are probably going to be inside of another caravan of people who are leaving whenever it is that you decide to leave. But yeah, the point is that you will not be around the same people because, again, Arlisle knows that whoever put his amulet where they put it on the dwarven cart did it to set up the dwarves because they were trying to set you up so they could confirm that the 5 of you were a party, that the 5 of you were looking for the cultists, and that the 5 of you, they wanted to see how you acted when they saw this. One of my favorite scenes ever is out of Ronin, where I can't think of the guy's name, but he like sets up a little thing across this cart, has the little bellboy take the baggage up, and it falls to the ground, and all of the guards like protect their like the guy who hired them and protect the package that he's protecting. And it's purely for him to get sight on how do these bodyguards act when something vaguely sounding like a gun goes off. And that's what they did to you. They set you all up to see what you would do and how you acted. They watched you use magic to locate the item. They watched you all attack the dwarves for basically saying that they were innocent. Like, I wasn't trying to hide that you guys made a spectacle of yourselves. And that wagon train is gone. You've lost them.
for the best. So we should learn from our mistakes and do it better now. So the first thing we should do before we leave this town, we might get some better jobs, some better payment for everyone. So
Yeah. Is there a potential to renegotiate with new caravanners for a job?
I would want to ask the bartender if there's a place where people are looking to hire people for protection.
They give you a pretty similar response that generally whichever direction you are looking to travel, there's usually an area where you can spot different wagons that are preparing to actually leave. And you can try to find your way towards one of the wagon masters and see what you can do to negotiate yourself into the train. But overall, they just kind of point you off into that general direction of if you're heading north, take the north road. If you're heading south, take the south road and just look for a wagon who seems to be preparing to head off. Assuming that you all basically spent that day passing through Dragonspear, you would basically be finishing on a pretty mirrored position on the outskirts of Dragonspear. Again, you are basically in like a somewhat like peasantry area. Nothing here is like especially like neither fortified nor is it like really nice. But you are essentially finding another roadside inn to stay in. Do you all have anything that you're looking to accomplish in this inn? Otherwise, we will progress to the next day. And those of you who want to try to renegotiate or negotiate with a new set of wagons.
Nope, nothing to do in this, and at least not for Tinus.
No, nothing in particular for Doc.
No, we're good. Let's go find some more wagons and actually try to get paid.
So the next day, we'll do another like it's like 15 silver basically for that night for your rooms. And then we will have you all set up for the next day as you prepare to leave Dragonspear. Kind of among, it's a pretty similar situation where you all would see a not necessarily like a roadside inn set up like where everybody seems to congregate, but there seems to be somebody who is a God, I can't think of the fucking word, but essentially a supply outfitter. There we go. He's like an outfitter and supplier setup where they have like a corral of horses. They have different setups of wagons like prepared to be sold. And you all see different levels of merchants who seem to be gathering together their different both horses as well as trying to procure different people to man the different jobs. Many of these wagons at this point seem to be filled with a few people already, but overall, what are you all looking to do as you approach the outfitters?
Tinus is going to be looking for a wagon that doesn't have too many guards already, but definitely looking to become a guard for them. So, do I need to offer like any specific kind of description for what type of merchant I'm looking for?
Wealthy.
Pretty much everybody traveling is in a similar situation as before, where most everybody has everything under tarpaulins. There's nobody who's displaying things where you can explicitly see what they are hauling. People have their wagons loaded down and like stowed, so you're not like able to look across things and try to spot this or that. That gives you other clues. People are in traveling clothes because walking around looking like you're wealthy is a really great way to get robbed.
Well, alrighty. Tinus is gonna head to one of the just any one of the wagons. I guess we'll say the closest one, so long as it doesn't look too rickety or run down, and approach the wagon master after casually dropping a guidance on himself because he's not very charismatic without a little assistance. And as he approaches this wagon master, he will say, "Good day to you, sir. I notice you're about to set off for the rest of the way to Waterdeep, and I'd like to offer my services as not only a guard, and he will gesture to his +1 crossbow, but also a potential medic. I'm experienced in both fighting and battlefield uh, medicine. So if something were to happen, not only would I be able to defend you, but I would be able to assist you in any sort of recovery." And just to show off a little bit, he's gonna just cast a little light spell on his hand, show he has some magic in him too.
Very nice.
Let me have you roll a persuasion, and you can use that guidance.
Woo! That's a 15.
Well, see, I mean, probably, yeah, probably hire you on as just one of the basic guards for me, and you can keep track of everything, make sure nobody gives us any hassle. But how's 5 gold sound for your troubles every 10 day, and probably be able to feed you on that way as well.
That is exactly what I was looking for, sir. You have yourself a deal.
Well, name's Lalu. You can call me Lalu. If you end up getting lost or anything, we can probably notify your next of kin. Just don't go dying.
And he'll point up to the gentleman who is currently like holding the reins for the horses.
There's Eskril. And you'll be working with I don't see him right now, but you'll meet Barian pretty soon here. We'll be leaving pretty soon. He's probably down with them whores. Find him shortly here.
It's going to be wonderful working with you, Lilo, and I'll make sure you see your journey without any further complications. So just from my notes, that's Eskril, Barian, and Lilu.
All
right.
Adar? Vicious?
Yeah. Well, then I'm gonna make the move and just approach the if there's someone especially with a big stomach.
Food?
No, let's just go for appearance at the moment.
Do a perception check for me.
I mean, if I'm going for perception, I would also look for food.
No, this is you looking for somebody with a big stomach.
I fail.
Pretty much everybody to your eyes looks anorexic. You actually wonder if anybody who seems to be leaving today even knows what food is.
That's great.
Just gonna. Do you think there's someone I should approach and ask?
Everybody sees at a distance that Hadar has a single tear drip down out of his eye as it starts to evaporate and dries up before it really hits his cheek.
Kind of says a prayer for the poor man.
So you can just approach a random wagoner, and how would you like to try to sell yourself to this person?
Hey, are you looking for a guard? You look like someone who needs protection on that journey.
That's some sort of threat that you are trying to say? What sort of guarding can you offer?
Well, I can fight, and I will make sure that you survive on the way. and your goods will be safe on the way. The only thing I would want would be some food and some appropriate amount of money for it. So
Fighter, you say? Well,
And he'll kind of like throw you like a large heavy piece of metal, and I want you to do a strength check for me.
12. And as he
And-
does it, go ahead.
Nope, continue. What were you saying?
I just want to do as I see him throwing. Do I look like a horse?
You certainly have a surprising characteristic from you, but it's definitely interesting. And as you catch this item that he throws at you, it is incredibly dense and incredibly heavy, and you certainly surprise him by your deft ability to actually not only catch this thing, but also not like kind of fall over on your face, as this like small object that he's thrown you seems to weigh almost like 100 pounds, and seems to be some sort of like incredibly dense rare ore.
So why do you throw things at me?
Say you're a fighter, but you don't look like much. So, perhaps... Probably put you in charge of Caitlin here. And, well... Let's start you off with a little bit more of a basic contract. I think we can pay you about 6 gold there, and get you set up where you're just to see what you have to offer for us.
So you see, Phil, do you tell me I have carrier options on the way to get a better pay, depending on how I perform? Or
Well, won't necessarily put you in a position to renegotiate or anything, but you might get fired, is more what I'm saying. But I can pay you 6 gold per 10 day if you're able to make your way along our trail.
well, I think we can say that we make it 8 gold per 10 day.
Well, you can just head on your way, and I'm sure you'll make yourself there wherever you're going in good time.
Yeah, I feel like I saw you throwing some ores at me. I feel like you're someone who can have a little bit of spare money in them, and especially someone like you should probably need some better protection. I mean, you can keep throwing the ores at people and see what happens.
Well, you can go along your way. Your services are not needed here. Good day to you, sir.
Well, then I'm going to try the next one. Goodbye.
So, what is your intention as you approach another wagon?
I'm gonna start the same. So, hey, you look like someone who would need some protection. Should I
So, if it's
help
the
you out
same
with that?
idea that you're going to offer yourself as a fighter, I need a strength check at disadvantage. I don't really have any need for you, but you can certainly follow along and maybe clean up some of the horse's dung and shack up near our tents. That should get you where you're going.
I don't think that I feel like you're underestimating my strength. I mean, I'm not a carrier, but I'm more like a fighter. You.
You kind of look more like a wheel, so if I have a wagon's wheel break, maybe we'll be able to get you to, like, bite down on the axle and keep going. But other than unforeseen circumstances where you can take up the ways of objects meant for rolling, I'm not sure we've got any need for you.
You sure there isn't another way I could prove my strength, my capabilities to you than just carrying some heavy things?
Well, I feel like you misunderstand what a fighter generally does. It's definitely a physical show of strength that I'm looking for here. So, unless you've got some reason to be useful other than being a fighter, I don't really see how we'll be able to use you. But I've got things to accomplish, so you'll have to head on for the day.
Wait.
But yeah, you're not able to find anybody who cares for your services at that point. So you are basically at that point, you are following the wagon train for free.
Mhm.
Vicious, do you have anything in mind for how you would like to try to get hired?
I'm gonna go up to whoever it was that turned down Hadar and see if they want my services.
So in general, you are looking to basically to show like your strength as a fighter.
Sure.
Like, do you have something in mind that you want to do?
No, I was just gonna go up and say, I'm able to help guard your wares. I think that you would be wise to take advantage of some sort of service such as that, because I've heard there are all sorts of bandits between here and Waterdeep.
Well, things can definitely be rough here, so there's some need perhaps for another guard. Do you have some way of covering that like hideous and he like just does like a circular motion kind of around his face as he looks at you almost like he's about to vomit?
I don't understand, sir.
Well, it's like the green.
Are you offended by the way I look?
Well, it's not so much the way you look, but like maybe that you're an orc.
I
Can you
can't
fix
really.
that?
I can't change that.
Well, I know it's your face, but I feel like there's some way that maybe if we could just fix that, it'd go a lot better. But if you think you could be useful, um, yeah, let me see, can you just give the wagon here a little lift and let me see. But like, there's nothing that you can do to fix your face.
No.
That's very unfortunate. Yeah, can you just lift the wagon? Let me see. If we broke an axle, could you lift the wagon?
Apparently not.
Do you actually have orc blood, or are you just cursed to look like one?
Let me give that another try.
You don't have to embarrass yourself. That's all right. We could probably, I could probably pay you about 5 gold as a guard, and if you don't end up being all that useful, we might just have to let you go. But 5 gold per 10 day, we can set you up with that, and that's a nice start for you.
Plus food?
I don't know how much an orc eats, or if you eat like human food, but I'd rather just keep this as a monetary deal between us.
Well, then why don't you make it 6 gold for 10 days, since I have to go find food and bring it?
I don't really want people to think that I pay an orc more than a human. People might already think enough if I hire an orc. I think it's in my best interest to keep you at a lower wage than everybody else.
All right, then I will vow to change your mind, sir.
Now, like, if you could fix your face, that would go a long way.
I
I'm
cannot do
laughing
that.
so much. Just fix your face, man.
No, sir. Maybe you can find a wizard or something that could cast some sort of spell.
Is that why you're going up north? Are you looking to find a wizard to just fix that? Because that's actually a really intelligent. So, like, oh, that's actually surprising. You might not actually be an orc.
Sir, I will just endeavor to do my best to serve you as a guard.
Yeah, and again, if you can do anything to fix that face, that actually would be a really great addition to your services.
Just puts a paper bag over her head.
Yeah.
All right, so we got you all set up with a little bit of a wagon train here as everybody prepares to leave. The person
Before
who
we leave, I would like to buy some food before we leave. Just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, so inside of Dragonspear, at that point you can get rations for I think 6 silver per ration. Yeah, 6 silver per ration on that outfitters north of Dragonspear.
Do I know how many days it normally is for the next city where I could buy more food?
Daggerford's going to be the next of the largest cities. It's going to be approximately 20 to 30 days, depending on how the travel goes.
All right then.
So the person who hired you, Vicious, will kind of introduce you. Well, my name's Mikeian. You can call me Keefy if you need to. And then this here running the horses for us goes by the name of Hare. He's not all that fast, but he does what he can. And then Mr. Kylin is there he is presently walking up towards us. He'll be one of the other guards who you'll be working with. He does some fine work, so if he tells you to do anything or get anything accomplished, I know it might be fast for an orc, but just listen to what he says and everything will be all right.
Fine, sir.
And then with that, you all can head off for the day. You end up leaving in a train with approximately, was it, you guys have 3 wagons, I think, that you were traveling with. My notes here. Oin, Green Imsa, Cynthia, and Lai. Actually, you guys will lose the dwarves in Dragonspear. They will not leave with you all. But you do see the little rock gnome girl. She seems to kind of like hang out and seems to be in that area. And kind of last minute, she hops onto the wagon train and kind of joins your wagon group in a pretty similar fashion where she like hops onto the back of one of the wagons and just kind of more or less shadily rides for free. So you guys leave with Oin and Doc's crew, Green Imsa and Arlyle's crew, the noble Cynthia that you all saved, and then the little rock gnome kind of joins your group, as well as Tynus has Lalu. Hadar is kind of just pretty similar to Radisir and her plan. Hadar is just kind of somebody who's tagging along. And then Vicious is going to ride with Mikeian, or work for Mikeian. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 other wagons in that train, for I think a total of 7 wagons, 8 wagons that you all leave with. Actually, no, 9. One of them seems to be somebody who kind of has a separate wagon still in his employ, but he's traveling like with a group of more people.
All right, nice.
I'm just gonna tell you guys that I bought 20 rations of food from the party loot list money. Yeah.
Oh, you guys had to support his eating habits.
I'm on 7 coppers.
Oh, you use your own money, so I don't have to subtract that from the party loot?
I already subtracted it from the party loot.
Alright, good to know. Okay, noted.
Anyone needs a ration in emergency, I have some.
In an emergency, I'm gonna use create food and water.
Why
That's
did why did I even buy rations, man?
I thought it was
I don't know.
amazing.
I thought it was funny. I thought you were like doing a bit, so I didn't say anything.
Well, he's not in your party, right?
Yeah,
He's not.
it's
I mean, Tynus isn't really gonna interact with anyone unless he has to at this point.
yeah, we planned that, so I don't need you to survive.
At best, he would pretend to be like throwing you some charity.
Man, that's a great idea. I'm going around like a beggar.
Hey,
Well,
it's
I mean-
the same beggar.
For what it's worth, once you cast create food or drink, you can pretty well support almost the entire wagon train. It's like 15 humans can eat from it.
Oh yeah, it's like so much food. It's just not tasty at all. Now think about it, that could have been a selling point for Tynus. Just like, hey, I can make food.
Yeah, really. I mean, you get paid more.
But I'm holding to the idea that with a -1 to charisma, he doesn't want to try to negotiate things. He knows better. Past experience has taught him that take the price you're offered because you'll probably go down if you try to negotiate it.
Yeah, so you guys are in a wagon train of about 38 people as you all leave Dragonspear here.
So we're
Can-
supposed to do some very quiet spying, right?
I don't know who you're talking to. Tynus is with his people.
No, just in general. We're supposed to go find out where the dragon cultists are.
Can we move the map back to the world map? I'm tired of looking at this wagon fight setup.
Oh shit, my bad. Yeah, I didn't even realize that I had you guys on that. I've been like altering the present location on the actual like main map without recognizing that I had you all on that map.
Ah, cool. I like the map of the Sword Coast better.
So you have a pretty uneventful day here as you leave Dragonspear behind and you all start progressing towards Daggerford. Everything goes pretty smoothly across that day. Is there anything you are looking to accomplish?
Tynus will take some time to get to know Escaril and Barian. Barian being the other guard, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Then yeah, Tynus is going to take a bit of time while they're traveling to just speak to Barian. Generally ask him like, what's your experience in terms of combat?
You get to know them and you hear about their experience.
Yeah, that's all.
Do they know anything about porcelain?
Titus will never say that word again.
That character was going to be so much fun to continue to fuck with you.
I'm so glad we got away from that. That is a really good Tynus word at this point. Just
Spoilers, he was a cultist keeping you from looking at his fucking wagon.
damn it!
He did not have porcelain in his wagon.
That was damn. That is strong. That's just a strong.
It was a
play
good
right
bit,
there.
though.
It
So
was.
yeah, you all kind of do a pretty similar setup where the wagon train camps relatively like surrounding itself with the actual wagons, keeping the horses inside of the wagons, and then everybody sets up their tents inside of that circle. Different people who stay on guard through the night keep fires lit around that general area. It seems to be a pretty standard operating procedure for the different groups that travel along the tradeway. And while they kind of let different bits of information go that there's not nearly as much to worry about in these general areas, there's still plenty of banditry here, and plenty of threats that you have to keep aware of. But by and large, you've kind of stepped away from some of the most dangerous immediate areas. And you all have a pretty uneventful night's rest as you move off into the next day. The wagon train heads off early enough in the morning, roughly around the early day.
Yeah, just for posterity's sake, Tynus is not interacting with the rest of the party. Generally speaking, because he is a talky person, and I've set him up that way, he spends most of his time just, if he is talking to anyone, it's with the people of his wagon. But on the subject of any sort of investigation, he's going to be waiting at least a week out before even beginning to consider doing any investigation on other wagons. So, like, that first whole week of travel, he's just going to be acting as a guard.
Yeah, so let me know if anybody has any plans and what they're doing in these next progressing days, because I am just speed rolling through some of these days, as you all basically are now 3 days out of Dragonspear.
So, I'm trying to look like something like a beggar and just switching places and going to behind every carriage at once for some moment for like half a day, and then changing the carriage which I follow and just listening or trying to listen if they speak about something specific. Just listening to them, whatever they talk, or if there's nothing, I just follow them.
So let me have a performance and a perception check from you. In general, you're not going to pick up pretty much anything, but you also have a vague feeling that you don't necessarily rouse any like ill feelings or anything. There are definitely different times across this week, though, where let's see, Oin as well as Green Imsa kind of look off to you guys. Like, they're a little curious as to why the group is not acting in consort anymore. And there will be a point where, as you're following behind the wagon that Radisir has kind of jumped onto, she kind of like starts a little conversation with you. Why are you all acting weird? This is to Hadar.
Oh well, somehow we beforehand we didn't make any money on our way, and we tried a different approach this time.
Are you running from something too?
Oh, I'm running from poverty and hunger.
You don't look hungry. I don't think you're running fast enough.
Hader gives an annoyed. Wait. It looks back annoyed. Yeah.
What are you really running from?
Why should I be running from something?
Didn't you say you were just running from something? Seemed like you're running from something. Why aren't you talking to your friends anymore? Don't they help you and protect you?
Well, I hope so, but it doesn't look like it at the moment, though.
Guys look a little weird at the moment.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And are you running from something, little lady? Well, was it a lady or a guy? I forgot.
It's a little female rock gnome.
Oh, yeah.
It's Radisir, the girl who was eyeing Arlyle's amulets before it was stolen.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I think we're all running from something. And she like looks longingly at the trail kind of left behind the actual wagon train. And she's pretty similarly set where she's towards the back of the wagon train. This time she's not like in front of Arlyle's train, but she's in a pretty similar situation where she seems to be riding on one of the more rearward of the wagons. Well, yeah, I'm running from something. Can you keep a secret?
Well, it's not like I have anyone to tell it to. I mean, my friends are not talking to me, so who should I tell it? So yeah, I guess I can.
You all seem like you were kind of good people, although it was a little interesting what you did to the dwarves. But, yeah, definitely running from something. I, had to take care of a pretty shitty person down in Baldur's Gate. And I removed them from the equation. But I can't stay there anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh right. I didn't. You didn't look like that. You know?
Well, some of us can change our appearance. Did you know any monks from in that area?
No, I'm not from Baldur's Gate exactly. I came from more like a little bit more down south to the. Yeah, I didn't know someone from Baldur's Gate. So.
So you might not have even known him. But he won't hurt anybody ever again. That's what really matters.
Well, not every monk is the same. I mean, we have different monasteries and everything, so I can't know every monk in the world.
Well, I wasn't saying you all look the same.
Yeah, I can tell you do not look like the normal monk. Most people like jokes about me being fat and everything, but you know that's not everything to me.
Well, I've been listening, and you seem to be a little focused on the food, though.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can't hide that. I love food. So, so what did a monk do to make a little lady like you hate him so much that he has to be removed?
Well, they were terrible things. And he uses powers to get away with them. I don't think anybody was ever going to fix that problem, so I fixed him. And I left everything behind for it.
Well, sometimes you have to take up the sword yourself and do what do what is need to be done.
And that's what the best of us do. And she kind of leans in like a little bit closer and kind of like brings you forward with her finger as she will kind of lean in towards you and say, I think we're far enough away now that hopefully you all can help protect me and I can help protect you all. But you can call me Arya.
All right, I've got to remember that. My name is Hader. Nice to meet you, Arya.
It's a pleasure to meet you in the flesh. And if that wasn't enough for you, that is indeed Arya Snow Willow that you just met.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. But
That's someone we're looking for?
It is somebody who is a part of the previous campaign that he was looking for, as well as Jape from the previous campaign. That is the
Hey.
sister of Jape. It is, damn. She's got so many different fucking names. Sifia Antios.
but don't tell me she killed Calvin in Baldur's Gate.
No, she killed Oban?
Ofa?
No. It was, again, a part of Kelvin's background.
Oh, there was I forgot his
Somewhere
name
in
too.
suspicious circumstances.
I thought it was human.
I don't think you all remember, but Sifia Antinos is a master rogue, and Radisir is her alternate identity that she spent the time creating. She is approximately like a 13-year-old girl who is currently holding up the idea that she is a rock gnome in order to escape Baldur's Gate.
Was Oberon.
Yeah, there we go,
Yeah,
Oberyn.
Yeah. Good thing, so he's dead, so I do not need to kill him.
She was like the leader of the party that came down when we were fighting like the drow and everything.
Yeah, she was among them at that point, and that was, again, this is meant to be a throwback to your other campaign more than that they will attach in the exact same campaign. But this is part of her story where she disappeared from Water's Deep years before when Josh left. She left at the same, or Jape left. And she ended up being around Baldur's Gate where she would have met Kelvin as Arya Snowwillow. And this is after she killed Kelvin's old master, who was the monk who was doing, again, terrible things. She killed him and is now fleeing from Baldur's Gate, trying to make her way to Daggerford.
Okay, then I'm mistaking it because the Orc Master was Chang Wu from Calvin. I just have the background open. The Oberon was the noble he beat up. But then we can change the name, whatever.
I mean, I feel like in the original notes you had it set up as Oberyn was like the child molester, and that's who she killed.
Yeah, that's what I thought in the beginning. But the Master wasn't. Oh, but yeah, I mean, but
Fun throwback.
it's just a plot twist in the throwback. Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as I took that, like, you had no reason to know that Oberon person other than that it was one of the masters at the monastery, not necessarily the highest ranking of them. But she basically removed him from existence as she would have left the area.
It's great. Took revenge.
But she basically, that is her kind of coming out as recognizing that you all are trying to be covert in this thing, and that she has plenty to lose as well along with you all. And that is why she kind of ducked out from the original wagon train, seeing some sense of you all are better people than most who travel along this road. And she kind of took the opportunity to have that covert discussion with Hadar, because you are basically walking at the back of a train where the actual noise of the horses and the wagons covers up your conversation, where you two can have that like very low speech where she can actually discuss stuff, where you don't feel, or rather she recognizes there's next to no risk that anybody can overhear you, because there's so much ambient noise around.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I'm still gonna play it to hide the reason we split up, because I began with it. I'm gonna stay with it.
Yeah, she doesn't necessarily press it to figure out what you all are doing. She was just kind of showing her hands, like, on some level, she recognizes that you all are doing something shady, and was basically, like, showing her hand to say, I appreciate that you all are doing something shady, and it might fly, but it's definitely something that there are those who notice.
Good to know. Good to know. I do not have any question for her in particular, specifically. So that would be all from my side for the conversation.
So as you all progress along this, what is this, the 5th day outside of Dragonspear, you have a pretty easygoing day. As you progress forward. Things seem to be simple enough as everybody starts to set up camp along that 5th day. And it is around midway through the night that alarms start to kind of be sounded as some of the different guards who are at their call start to call out for everybody to get to arms. Let me have everyone do just a basic D20 to see who's on guard. I guess no, not a D20. Let's do a D100. Between 89 and 46. So Arlisle, Tynus, and Vicious are all on guard at the different points there. Tynus, Arlisle, and Vicious are on watch as everybody starts calling for aid. And again, there is the entire population of 33 other NPCs inside of here, as well as other monsters doing their thing. But this is me not trying to run 55 NPCs. So this is a general breakdown of what you all have in front of you as you kind of come to consciousness, start to gather that there are giant spiders starting to assault the camp. They seem to have webbed a horse and are starting to drag it off towards the east, and are basically moving in on the camp across. At this point, people wouldn't really know the exact locations, but in general, there is screaming coming from like pretty much all around the camp. So it's more of just you're going to have to take a few moments to actually figure out where everything is going down. But this is where I will have everybody roll initiative.
Nice.
All I could think when you popped up that map was that like random question: would you rather fight 20 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Where did that question even come from?
I don't know. I randomly like watch this one dude's channel, and he always asks people like it's just a random question he asks them.
I've never heard that.
I'm back.
Duck-sized horses or horse-sized ducks?
Hey, are these spiders bigger than the horses or what?
I think I set my thing
Uh,
wrong. I have it set for always roll on advantage. What's everybody else have? Always roll twice?
Yeah.
Always roll twice, yeah.
Yeah.
So are the horses the enemies or the spiders?
Don't count my second roll.
That's
you
up
are
to you.
most welcome to start killing the horses.
Wouldn't advantage basically be the same thing as rolling twice?
No, because advantage takes the highest. Always roll
look, I
twice
rolled the same
presents
thing
it so it is ready to take advantage or disadvantage.
The first time I rolled 1 and 2, and then it adds 4 and picks the highest. The second time I rolled 1 and 9, so it'll still be the same either way. But you can see my 2 rolls how it appears on the screen.
Man, we have 3 natural ones. That's kind of impressive.
I think we're overpaid.
Speak for yourself. I'd doing this for, unnegotiated price.
Yeah. I'm getting nothing.
I don't understand why you insist on negotiating on every single thing presented.
You know, you gotta try.
I have
Well, last time
told
we
you
didn't
guys
negotiate at all.
over and over again that I have no interest in a world of negotiating, and every single time you've tried to negotiate, I have raised the price on you.
Yeah.
Well, last time they didn't negotiate, got them no money for ages.
That was actually Tynus intentionally, because in Tynus's head it was just get in Caravan. Who cares for what reason? So he took literally a pittance.
Wait, what is it? Doc should be at 5, not 6? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, it probably won't make a difference, but
Oh, I think it updated you? I don't know. Kind of weird, but I think it's got you.
oh, yep, it's got me for 5.
Yes, the giant spiders are the same size as the actual horses. The other things seem to be humanoids that are vaguely spider-like. And Vicious, you would be the one who actually sees one of these things is wrapping a horse in webs as it drags it out from the caravan's encircling of wagons, and is dragging the horse off to the east. And they seem to be rather humanoid-looking creatures. And with that, we are going to start off with one of them as it...
Wait, the spiders are humanoid looking?
There are two different things assaulting the caravan right now. The spiders are on the north side of the caravan. You probably would not notice them, as the things that are humanoid-looking spiders are what is immediately in front of you, and they are dragging away a horse.
So they're sort of like man spiders, not Spider-Man.
Oh no, Miles Morales is stealing a horse.
And then another one is going to web a horse directly in front of you, Vicious, as it starts to drag it across the wagons, and it's going to go to Arla.
So throw a javelin at the man spider thing above me. 13 to hit.
13 is going to miss.
12 misses. That ends my turn.
Josh, have you thought about throwing away your digital dice and getting new ones, or maybe like reinstalling the dice app or something?
That's a completely new computer, so I guess it's not linked to that. Maybe I'll start using what's it called? Roll20 instead. Eh?
Perhaps worship a different deity? Like, I don't know.
I think it's just me and my personally ingrained luck. I have incredible luck in casinos, but just terrible luck in this, it seems.
Well, I guess if you're going to choose one, I'd rather be a winner at the casino than in D&D.
My thoughts exactly.
Just become a paladin of Timora. She's luck.
Maybe I should just take the lucky feat, but I burned through that in one turn.
Can only use one each time, so
Hey,
probably
even
can't burn through
one
it
hit
in
a
one turn.
It's basically guaranteeing at least one hit a turn, though. So hey, why not?
Well, I'll just roll shit a second time, I think.
That would require you to roll badly 3 times in a row. I don't think you're that good. I mean, bad.
I usually average 8 or 9 bad rolls before I do one okay one.
Hey, fair enough.
And usually one crit a session, so, you know.
At least you're consistent. You can count on yourself.
All right, so as you come to consciousness, Hadar, and everybody is yelling for everybody to get to, you see as 3 different horses, kind of northwest and north of you, are dragged into the actual caravans as they are encircled in webs, and as they neigh and fight, they just get like further and further webbed into the ties of these things that seem to be dragging them off into the sides. That is technically a wall on that side. This isn't necessarily exactly the camp that you all have to be in, but basically, like, you two are inside of the sleeping area, which is like the open area, and there's like an opening to the north of you and vaguely west of you.
Alright, so I can only see those to the north, probably?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like vaguely, there's like the setup of all of the goods kind of between you and the east. So the east is like not necessarily where you can go, but even if it were like mosquito netting, you can kind of see, but you still have to go north or northwest.
Well, what I would do is...
But I guess really what it would be is like to go directly east would be difficult terrain. Climb over all of that junk.
Yeah, alright, so I would to try get here on the junk, if this is junk where I could climb on. I mean, I have 40 feet movement normally, so...
Yeah, so I think it would be 20 to there. I think that's 3 spaces, one of which would be difficult.
Yeah, so I would stay there, and from there I would try to throw my darts on the big spider to the right. Yeah.
22 will hit.
Oh, I'm rolling the wrong one. Sorry, I am rolling with. I opened the character sheet of Calvin for I forgot it. Just wait, I'm telling you the modifier is +3, so we have to subtract 5.
17 hits and 20 hits.
Yeah, but the dart is just. And the dart has to be another one either, because it's also not a +5 then. It's only. No, it's also the +5, yeah. Oh, wait, no, wait, sorry. I'm +3 then. So it should be.
So 5 damage instead of 7.
Yeah.
And then 7 damage.
Yeah. Alright, great.
Anything else from Hadar at that point?
No, that would be my turn.
Then it's going to go to Doc.
Can I see that horse being dragged off on the east there? Can I see what's got a hold of it still to take a shot, or is it considered off the board?
The one far off to the east. Let me have a perception from you. It seems to have kind of melded into the shadow at that point. So you can take a shot at it at disadvantage, but otherwise you're just kind of guessing where it might be.
All right, I want to try to save that horse. So, where do I need to move so that I'm in position to like actually shoot over all that shit, or did you say I could just move at
I mean, I absolutely hate sharpshooter because it doesn't change anything. You can just shoot at that thing. It's just at disadvantage. Like your vision.
Oh no, I thought I had to like move my actual like body somewhere in specific to be able to shoot, because there was like a wall of goods next to me.
Well, that's what I was saying, is even if it was like a soft wall on that east side, it's just that there's a bunch of stuff being stored there. So it's difficult terrain if you're going to move into that stuff. But other than like sucking up your movement for that, that's all it really is.
Okay, Doc will kind of like run over that way and like jump on top of some crates, and I'm gonna take a shot with disadvantage at that creature.
Let's see.
I'm gonna do a. Hang on, don't tell me yet. So it would be disadvantage. So if I roll another one, does that mean I end up with a 14?
No, that's where luck, if you use a lucky bypasses disadvantage because lucky is gay as hell. So if you use a lucky, you get to choose between the nat 1 and whatever you roll with the lucky.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a lucky then.
But the disadvantage chooses that 9. And then, yeah, so you basically have a nat 1 or a 6.
Okay, so that's obviously a miss.
14 hits. 6 plus 8, 14 will hit.
Oh, okay. So it's not just 6 or 9. I pick which one of those to use, and then I get the 14 though?
Yeah, when you use lucky at disadvantage, the disadvantage that 14 doesn't even really, the disadvantage throws away the 14 and you take the nat 1. The lucky feat allows you to roll a d6 and choose, or a d20, and choose which one you want to use. That's why I say lucky defeats disadvantage, because you now get to choose between the lowest possible roll of your original and then whatever you roll with lucky.
So it like adds a third die and then just takes away the worst one pretty much.
No.
Okay,
the worst one's still in the mix because you can technically still choose that nat 1. But it essentially lets you choose the die that you roll the d20 with, because you probably don't want the worst of the die rolls, but it's between the worst of the original and what you roll with the d20.
All right, so for disarming attack, it says when you hit with a weapon attack, you can expend one superiority die to add it to the damage and to disarm the target if it fails a strength saving throw. Can I try to disarm it of the horse, or is that only for a weapon? Basically trying to make it drop the horse. If not, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give it like advantage on that check if you want to do it, because it is essentially using the web to drag the horse away. So it's not really holding the horse, but I can still see a reason why the creature would like be shocked where it might drop the webbing. But in general,
okay, that's cool.
It's much harder than getting somebody to like drop their weapon because you shoot them in the hand.
Okay, so it's 1 extra damage, so 6 total damage, and then it's a DC 14 check.
Yeah, and I rolled a 10. So it seems like it drops the webbing that's holding the horse to it.
Okay, and then I'm going to do one more shot, this time a sharpshooter at the same creature. And then it would be normally the 7. So I'm going to just use another lucky. So it'd be a 13 total to hit. And I'm going to use 1 superiority die to give it plus D8.
That'll hit.
Okay, so it'll be 19 total damage. And that's it for my turn.
On to Tynus.
Tynus is gonna scorching ray the giant spider in front of him. All 3 rays at that one spider.
2 will hit. 19 damage.
Yep. And that is gonna be the end of his turn there.
As it shrieks in pain, it will look charred and burned across a good, large, massive portion of its body. And it's going to go to Vicious.
All right, I'm going to run up a block. Go into rage and whack away at the spider that's on that horse.
Can't help it. Are you going to whack the spider off the horse?
Yeah, I'm gonna like just try to smash the spider into pulp.
13 will miss. 23 will hit. And roll a d6.
No horse meat today.
So I think 3 horses will buck out of their webbing. The one directly north of Arlisle, the one north of Tynus, and the one northeast of Vicious. Holy shit. Alright. So the creature to the east of you, Vicious, is going to run up and it's going to try to bite at you with I think that's going to be an 11 to hit.
Nope.
And then it is going to slash out at you with a claw for, I believe, a 12 to hit.
Nope. I will let.
And then it is going to slash out at you with a claw and hit the creature that is currently webbing the horse in front of you that you just hit. And it's going to hit.
Man, orcs, hard to hit.
5, a 6, and then a nat 1. And it's going to do 12 damage.
Sounds like you got me to do the rolls for you.
Well, that's one of the things about rolling enough dice, you're going to roll like shit. The number of 20s that I've thrown away this session rolling like for random encounters, like a lot of those random encounters, like I really like generating random encounters right now with a blend of different dice to decide what it is. So like I'll have like a d20 and a d12. So like there's a lot of numbers that can't even generate doubles that would cause a random encounter. And I've rolled so many nat 20s just doing that like this session alone. So yeah, that one runs up. It ends up smashing the other humanoid spider as it tries to get at Vicious, and it's going to go to Arlisle.
Okay. Move to here, which is the maximum of my movement. I'm going to cast Compel Duel on the, well, Duel, I should say, of Americans, to the big spider north of me, not the humanoid. So was it DC 14, I think?
So are these spiders or are they something else? Like I'm trying to look it up.
I mean, you guys shouldn't have any more information than there are giant spiders and humanoid-looking spiders. What are you trying to look up?
I just wanted to see what it was. I can't picture a humanoid looking spider. I have no idea what that is.
Have you seen Always Sunny before? When Frank goes to a costume party as Man Spider.
No.
So yeah, you would see as the spider that you compel Duel kind of looks down at you and has its like many faceted eyes seem to lock into your divine eyes.
Okay. Then for the humanoid man spider that's next to me, diagonally up and right from me, I'm going to stab him with my lance.
All right, how about you stab it with your lance and then cast Compel Duel, because stabbing that creature with your lance will break Compel Duel.
Yes, but I cast. Oh, will it? Oh shit! Because does that mean if I attack someone else, does it?
You can only attack that same creature that you have compelled duel. So you can
Oh, my
attack
bad.
that humanoid spider first and then do it. But once you compel duel, you can't attack other things too.
Okay, yeah, that was my mistake. I forgot that. My bad. Okay, so I'll do the lance attacks on the humanoids first, then, and then we can re-roll for compelled
And
duel
then
after.
I assume as well you would not complete your movement before making those attacks, because if you move into 5-foot range, you will take disadvantage to attack that thing.
Yes, that too. Also, thank you.
Lances have disadvantage at 5 feet, or within
Oh, do
5
they?
feet. Yep. They are long-range weapons meant for dueling from on top of a horse. It is not meant for melee combat.
Well, the more you know, eh? So I'm 10 feet away.
It's good for not getting hit immediately.
Yeah, then it engages me, and I can't disengage and move away from it. So a
Hey.
14 to hit.
14 will hit.
I'm gonna add a divine smite to that level 2.
Level 2, I believe that's 3d8?
Yeah, that's right. So an extra 14 for 28 damage, and then I'm gonna stab it again for a 25 to hit for 14 piercing, and then don't tell me yet because I'm gonna add on a level 1 divine smite, which is 2d8.
Oh my god, that's a lot of damage.
So 28 damage. Sorry, not 28. 24 damage on the second one, and 28 on the first. I'm not gonna look a webbed horse in the mouth either with these good rolls for change.
Well, this man dropping 58 damage on people.
Ain't no thing.
Why do you say 58?
Because I'm bad at math.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. Just took a sip from my whiskey and was like, oh yeah.
I have a calculator on me at all times for a reason.
All right, so then are you moving up and still compelling duel same way?
Can I do it from here?
Yeah, it's just a question of, are you finishing your movement or are you stopping there? And then I think compel duel, yeah, you're within the 30 feet to compel it from there.
Okay, a question for you then. If the man spider moves northwest away from me here now, would I be able to sentinel him? Because he'd be moving
Your
from 10.
range is 10 feet. So something can be 5 feet and move to 10 feet away from you, and you cannot take an attack of opportunity. But when it goes from 10 feet to 15 feet is when you would gain the ability to make an attack of opportunity.
Okay, I'll stay here and do my compelled duel on the big spider then, and that'll end my turn.
I didn't mean to grab that thing. Was that the space it was in, or was it just vertical of you, like north of you?
I think it was there. I think it's where you just
Oh,
put
yeah,
it in.
yeah, it was touching the horse. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the one that you've compelled, while like still staring at you, still drags the horse that it has webbed to the north. And it's still within 30 feet of you there, so it's still like kind of staring into your compelled duel. The one north of Tynus is going to web the horse that it was holding again. Let's see, Vicious, you can make a attack of opportunity as that creature pulls the horse that it has webbed away from you. 21 hits for 9 more damage. It's looking quite bloodied. The humanoid spider is going to step away from your lance.
Yeah, stab him then.
16 will
16.
hit.
Add a level 1 divine smite to that as well, or am I not allowed to on this?
I don't think there's anything that limits when you do it. If you pump in a level 1, that will kill.
Right, I'll add a level 1 then. I'll just mark off the spell slot. Want me to roll it anyway?
No, it had 16 health, so any extra damage was a kill.
Fantastic. Guys, I did something. Check me out.
I mean, nice.
Thanks, mate.
I was kind of expecting you to.
And then it's going to go to
didn't
Hadar.
just- You're way too strong. You're way stronger than these things. I knew you were going to kill at least one of them. I want to see how you duel that spider, though. That's going to be cool.
It's already broken.
It's got 8 legs. You've got 2. How do you duel that?
Yep. Yeah, it's broken because I stabbed someone else.
Right.
It
So
stayed
what
within
I
its
wanna-
bounds. It didn't attack anything else. It stayed within 30 feet of him. And it continued along with, as you guys can probably clearly guess at this point, they didn't come for you, they came for the horse meat.
Well, I kind of want to look around the camp and look what everyone else is doing in this fight. Except on the side from our people. So
What are you trying to see? You're saying you're looking around the camp to see what everyone else is doing?
like who is fighting and who is covering? If there's someone like catching my eye, fight more like who's fighting the spiders.
Roll a perception check. As you quickly glance around in the chaos, it seems like everybody is fighting off spiders in all directions.
Alright, so it wouldn't be suspicious if they also fight.
Yeah, again, I'm not trying to deal with 50 plus NPCs to show you guys what everybody in the camp is doing. This is your immediate problem. You should definitely assume that there are still other spiders and other humanoid spiders that are trying to do the same things.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if it would be suspicious if I also fight. So I feel like I can, just for myself, yeah.
If you also what?
If I also fight because I try to be undercover.
Why would not you fight?
To don't get their attention probably and look like a weak beggar. I mean, the spiders are not killing me; they are killing horses. And what do I care about horses?
I guess, and no one's paying you.
Yeah, that's my thing. But if everyone's fighting, then I'm joining. So I'm gonna continue to throw my darts at them.
Now I want to see if somebody hires Hadar as a horse.
Yeah.
Is Hadar rolling along the trail with a harness strapped to him?
No,
Okay,
I
I'm
just see him as a rickshaw, basically standing next to the horse, and he's running alongside with it.
Burn off all that 45 pounds of food.
Oh wait, no, this time I'm gonna throw a dagger. Yeah, it's strange how it rolls.
25 hits for 9.
19 to hit.
19 hits.
It's only
And
a 6.
6 will kill.
Great. Yeah, that would be the end of my turn then.
On to Doc.
I will throw a dagger at the man spider that is all the way to the east of me.
Word. So the one that's basically on the other side of the caravan right now, of the wagon.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, the northern, all the way eastern one. Nice. I'm gonna add extra damage to that.
It seems to maintain a whole. Why'd you roll multiples?
Oh, because I critted, it doubles it.
Oh,
or do
okay,
you
I got
2
you.
times it? Either way, whatever you want to do, you can just 2 times it, or I can roll twice.
No, yep, that's correct. That's fine. So it seems to maintain a hold on the creature. That's 21, 27. It definitely seems pretty viciously wounded at that point, though.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more at it. 14, will that hit?
That will indeed, and that will kill.
Nice.
14 meets from what I'm seeing.
Okay, and then I'm gonna throw one more dagger all the way at the spider that's like northwest up by Arla. Oh wait, is that out of range? I got 60 feet.
Yeah, I think 60 is your range, but
Okay,
there's no
yeah, but
reason that you can't like move that direction.
okay, I'll just move up like a little bit closer then. Okay, right there, and then I'll just throw one more dagger up there. Oh, I'll use a luck point on it. Nice. Oh, so that's it for my turn.
Alrighty, 7 will miss, and it will go to Tynus.
All right. Yeah, Tynus is going to use his full movement to try to get closer to the horse to the northwest, basically there, just to get a more aim at the spider that's dragging it away. That's definitely in range. 3 more scorching rays at that spider. Only one of those is gonna hit. Let's see. I forgot to take into account that my feat means any ones I roll in terms of damage are treated as 2s, but it doesn't look like I rolled any 1s in that scorching ray that hit. So it's just gonna be 11 fire to that spider.
It looks like you have it set up so it's accounting for that in the algorithm.
Oh, nice, cool. All right, cool. Then yeah, 11 damage to that spider. And yeah, that's gonna be end of his turn.
And to Vicious.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm going to beat up on the spider that is adjacent to me.
25 hits. And 14 hits. Roll a d6.
That was good.
Dear Diary, today I saw Peter Parker get mauled by a drooling orc.
Not drooling.
Frank Reynolds, you mean?
I thought it was drool at this point.
Okay, fine. It's drool.
Should have did some earlier on, like to establish, like I don't know, you're shooting lightning from your mouth or something.
The spider's going to move out of your range there, Vicious.
Yeah. So I guess I should chase it, though. No one. Well, Arlyle's out of the.
You don't currently have an option to chase it. What do you
Okay.
get to do when something moves away from you?
Oh, I get opportunity of attack or attack
There
of
you
opportunity.
go. Attack of opportunity.
You coward.
14 hits for 13.
All right, that's it. Dang, they're still moving.
Yeah, they don't want to fight. They just want to eat horse.
Yeah, they're moving pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I mean,
forgot
horses are heavy.
to dash last turn. They should have been able to get that horse off the map. And it's going to go to Arla.
Okay, 1 sec. It's going to move to here, and I'm going to stab at the big spider for a 19 to hit for 13 damage. And
19 hits.
Okay, and I'll add on a. How many spell slots have I got left? Add on a level 1 smite. The D8 or D6? I've forgotten already.
2d8. What is that? That's your 4th level 1 burned?
That's my 3rd.
Compel
I've got
duel,
one.
and then 3 smites now from level 1, and then 1 level 2 smite.
Yeah, that's right. So it was 1 level 2 smite, wasn't it? So that
Yeah,
was
but
the level 2.
You burned 2 level 1 smites last turn, because it was 1 level 2 and 1 level 1, and then compel duel. So that's 2 level 1s and a level 2 last turn, and then the attack of opportunity you burned a level 1, and then
So when
that
I
should
burn-
be your 4th level 1 burned right there.
All right. So when I do a level 2 smite, it consumes a level 1 and a level 2 spell slot.
No. The level 2 was a level 2 slot, but you compelled duel was a level 1. You did another smite at level 1, and then your attack of opportunity you burned a level 1. So last turn you burned 3 smites and a compel duel for a total of 3 level 1s and a level 2.
All right. Okay. So that's 4 level 1 slots gone. So that does a total of 27 damage.
it's looking absolutely devastated at that point.
I'll hit it again for a 23 to hit for 12 damage. No
How many
smite.
times have you hit this combat?
I'm doing well. I've hit 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row now. And started off with 2 misses, but then hit 5 times. So this is bumping my rolling average up quite significantly.
Nice.
Yeah, no complaints from me.
Let's see. Yeah, without dashing last turn, that spider has no chance. So we are going to end it here as you all lose track of a single total of 4 horses are stolen away in the night. And we will rejoin next week with what you all would like to do moving forward here.
All right.
Can the
That's some good
caravan continue without those 4 horses, or is it like too heavy?
Well, 2 wagons cannot continue, but the caravan can.
Man, that's gotta suck losing all your horses like that, but at least we saved so many, so that means the most of the wagons will keep going. Let's just hope it's none of the wagons we were employed by.
All of a sudden, Hadar's rickshaw services are looking pretty good.
Hades going around and asking people if they need a horse.
It's all coming up Hadar.
It's just a horse who eats a lot of more hay than any other horse.
And can't sleep standing up.
Do horses sleep standing up?
Indeed.
Interesting. I always thought they would lie down.
Their bodies are really not built for lying down and getting up easy.
Yeah, probably right about that.
Yeah, so for what it's worth, you all can decide whether you want to try to see what you can do for the wagon train to move forward. If you want to try to go after the missing horses, that will be among the things that we will jump back in basically in this night immediately following this combat here. But I see no reason to essentially fight off that last Ettercap as long as I forgot to actually have them dashing. They should have been moving faster with those horses, but they got away with some. They got away with some from the actual, like, the rest of the caravan as well. And we will see what you all care to do come next week on, what is it? It's going to be the 3rd of February.